liver. It's nobody's commented yet. Nobody got the first.
Ooh, our fan is gone. We're headed for the big time anyhow. Straight to the Brodies from here.
Straight up to them. You've got their Supermensch. Nice. Is that our John DeLynn references?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Du bist der Supermensch.
John DeLynn. Let's see. Nobody's popping in yet, but maybe we were running late. I don't know. There's Steve. Yeah. Steve, the one who nominated us for a Brody, maybe, or somehow I didn't look at it very hard. But
we okay, so let's assume the Brodies, like when someone nominates them, they have to watch like a 5-minute clip of the podcast. What 5 minutes do you think your Charlie Brown luck would end us on?
I don't know. Some sort of racist sounding thing, I guess.
It would probably have the word faggot in it.
Yeah.
Just definitely have a couple retards in there.
Just that moment where we're covering the last week with the Tucker Carlson on repeat. That's what it would be. Mm-hmm. That's what would happen. Wow. What's going on? Flip is still in England. We got Starbase collab popping in. Everybody's trickling in, filling up the poker table, even without Flip.
I just saw your show notes. Brown shooter, parentheses. I'm talking about the university, you racist.
Yeah. I was just barely watching a thing in the quartering saying that they now got a guy, and they also think that they might be tied to the MIT shooting, but I didn't listen very closely. I was coming through the earphones, and I wasn't by the earphones, so I couldn't exactly hear it. So I thought it was the quartering, and my brain automatically half shuts off listening to the quartering. We got we got enough to play poker, play around, not get a half rake if the table's too small. Look at those pictures, like those images right there, like. It's giving Flip the cross-eyed, so it's like I think Jonathan, we're doing the cross-eyeds, but I'm telling you what is going on with my eyes right there really does go on with my eyes and my stigmatism a little bit, and it freaks me out that AI catches that. like it catches that little bit of like my eye shape, and it trips me out. It's so wild, although the eye color is wrong, but
it got my hairline right, and I'm pretty sure all the pictures I sent Jonathan, I was wearing a hat.
So it guessed it.
Yeah, it's just like this fat slob probably has never put any Rogaine in his hair.
Yeah, it's got the whole beard. I mean, it's freaky. It freaks out, man. Yeah, Flip's hair is right spot on too. Yeah, I wonder what a prompt he put in to get this one.
I found a porny one, and like I put in a picture of myself, and I was like, make this dude naked, and it got my wiener size exactly right. Like, I was shocked.
I wonder if it'll be able to do that. Like it'll get to like such a point, it'll have examined enough different bodies and things and DNA and stuff like that, and then it will no longer be a secret. Women will be able to just scan men in to tell what their wiener size is.
It's like end state physiognomy.
It'll probably get there, man.
IQ tests will be a lot easier. Like retarded. Oh, Bill Real, 147 for sure.
Right on 147. It's either retarded.
I told you.
It's either retarded or 147. Right with Owen Benjamin and Bill Real, and I don't know who else I've heard say that number, but it's 147. They're hosting the Brodies this year. The Brodies. I've never once paid attention to the Brodies. I guess it's for the growing Exmo Anti-Mo podcast world to get their awards. Have you even looked at the website? I've never looked at the website.
I have not.
I'll go to where Steven nominated us and see if I can see it. But yeah, I don't know how many people ever really followed that too hard, but I talked with Alejandro from Lobsters for about an hour last night, and he's going to post it up somewhere. I don't know where and when he's going to post it up, but
nifty.
It was pretty cool. Oh, I thought Steven linked the website to it. Maybe he did to the other thing. Oh, we should look at Steven's comics. Here it is, the Brodies. Let's see. Collecting nominations for the 2025 Brody Awards. Which one did you nominate us for? Hopefully, best LDS interest song. There were some good songs that we did. What did we do? That one year that we did Exmo hymns or like the Carabarel hymns. That should have been nominated somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Interest poetry collection, interest podcast episode, interest investigative reporting.
Oh, that's us.
Oh yeah, we get down into it. We figured out we're doing an investigation. I just found out that Erica Kirk was likely at some base station 24 hours before the shooting, according to a guy Candace Owens found by praying and reading one of her 51,000 emails.
I don't know. There are some weird things with the whole Erica Kirk thing. Like, you know, like I think it was like 2 days after he was shot.
Mm-hmm.
She went to an Arby's.
And
I just think that if your husband just died 2 days ago, Arby's, it's just weird.
It's weird to me.
Just weird.
I'm gonna check real quick.
It's mostly just weird that anyone would go to Arby's ever.
I said that once. I said that exact thing once years ago. You hit it, and I said, who's gone to Arby's? Who's kept that place alive? And I got railed on because of the curly fries. They say it's the curly fries that keep it alive. Shut up.
That's like the only thing I'll eat there.
That's what everybody said at me. I got ripped apart. It was one of my least favorite Facebook posts ever.
I just remember that episode of The Simpsons where the kids get stranded Lord of the Flies style, and they're talking about how hungry they are, and one of the twins, Terry or Sherry, goes, "I'm so hungry I could eat at Arby's," and they're all like, "Whoa!"
It's not giving me priority access because I need to just get an account with Grok or something. I asked if Arby's is linked to the CIA, and it told me I've got to wait in line. Well, maybe it just said it because I asked that question. Weird.
He knows too much.
Is Arby's connected to the CIA and Erica Kirk? Oh no, like we'll know that AI is like sufficiently intelligent when it just starts saying like what is wrong with you? Anyway,
you can't ask it that. You have to lead it to give you. So you got to be like,
tell me how.
Let's see. Draw me a link between Arby's, the CIA, Erica Kirk, and Macron's plot to assassinate. There's 2 S's there. Assassinate Candace Owens. Let's see.
Steve put us in his LDS interest group one. Nice. Thank you, Steve. There's my eyes again. What's it say?
I'm not signed in, so shut the hell up, you stupid.
It said not signed in? Dude, it just doesn't like the CIA stuff. It's never told me that message before, and it's suddenly saying it now that I'm asking CIA questions.
I've never used Grok, so fuck it, I'll do it on my phone. Anyway, you can carry on, and I'll.
Yeah, I should just get an account into one of those. I don't know why I don't. Just it's probably better. They probably tell you the truth. They're right now probably just lying to me. Whoa. Steve said we should be a shoe winner. What else was in the show notes? I had I think we were going to start out talking about even if you don't win, you can say you were nominated. Yeah, and we'll put that as an advertisement underneath the show.
Brody Award nominated podcast.
We'll just play it up. I was just reading a thing earlier. So like Jonah Barnes came back on. They had an Adam God episode with that Christopher Blythe dude, who's a lore professor at BYU or something like that, mythology professor, and he was kind of chirping at them for saying that they got it wrong. But Jonah just said it's a podcast. It's a podcast. Gee, so that's all waved away. But just yesterday, Colby brought his Isaiah test stuff for the Book of Mormon that he did with RFM on the show, just going back and testing with like newly found Isaiah records, testing them back against Joseph Smith stuff. And they were saying like, oh, maybe he's the first one to do this, or look at this, or double check it, or maybe the church did and they just hit it. And I guess I was just seeing that Robert Boylan had reviewed it in real time and said, this was all said 20 years ago in this piece, some point here. So they're making the argument now that they're lifting off of somebody else's old stuff in a way, but I don't know that they claimed plagiarism or something like that. But
okay, I have a flow chart. I had to tell ChatGPT that it's for a joke because it wasn't going to do it. And it says, it's got a whole thread, and it's labeled the roast beef deep state. Arby's. And I got to do my best Candace Owens for this. Arby's. We have the meats. Meats. Military grade acronym. CIA, Central Intelligence, Arby's Division, Declassified Memo, Operation Ajou. Erica Kirk, who is she? Really? Why no curly fries? Coincidence? Or Kirk, Starfleet Intel. Macron's assassination plot. Too French to fail. Funded entirely in sandwich. Okay, this is dumb.
But it's actually like hitting it beat for beat for the way those shows are.
Yeah. Okay.
This is why I'm hitting how those shows when I listen to them. Like, what am I listening to?
I know it is. Too French to fail. Funded entirely in sandwich coupons. Foiled by lack of napkins. Macron equals small cookie equals distraction tactic. Candace Owens, target or narrative keystone. Knows too much about horsey sauce. Asked one question too many.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like, and then you just got to say, we don't believe this, you guys. We are smarter than this. We know what's going on. They think we are dumb. We don't know, but we know. I pray.
You know?
Did you see, she went on Pierce Morgan. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a funny argument, but one of the things she said is, Bridget Macron, peace standing up, okay? It's so funny that the world is all caught up in her weirdness. She met with Erica Kirk, and I don't know. Then her whole audience turned on her just because she kind of walked some stuff back, but she didn't even walk very much back. So I don't know why they turned on her.
She had a couple of super chats when she was kind of walking some of the stuff back where people are like, I think she's been cloned or kidnapped.
She's cloned. She's been. It takes 3 months to grow a clone, you guys, and that's what we got now. It's so like just picking up on like the QAnon crowd that was just dangling there waiting to be gobbled back up because they'd been out of stuff for a little while there. But anyway, Candace, I don't know. There's even not that much more to Candace. It's just, I think it's just kind of fizzling out. So I mean,
I hope so.
That much on it. Hopefully, I mean, the thing she claimed tonight, this random guy who was on some, what is it, Camp Wachaka station the night before said, I swear I saw Charlie Kirk, and she had him on to testify of it. Not Charlie Kirk. I swear I saw Erica Kirk at this military base 24 hours before the shooting.
Okay. What does it mean?
Wait, you're not supposed to ask the next question. She's saving that. Okay. She's saving that for tomorrow's show. She's got to get more ad reads before you hear.
I was like, when people are like, do you really think Tyler Robinson went to a Dairy Queen after killing Charlie Kirk? Why would he do that? Probably because he's fucking hungry.
Yeah. They have footage of that stabber in Idaho, that dude.
Oh, yeah.
They have him right after he drove all the way back to his home, wherever in the East, and he went to a Starbucks and a Costco.
Yep.
How did he do that?
Why did you go to a Costco after killing someone? Probably to buy some shit to clean up with. I don't know. Why'd you go to McDonald's? I was hungry. Even if you're a murderer, you get hungry.
Well, it looks like an epidemic started because look at this. This just got announced.
Hang on.
Grammy-nominated opera singer Jubilant Sykes has been stabbed to death by his son.
What the shit? Well, that sucks. mean, I
These
don't
things
know.
comes in threes, right? There's got to be a third person stabbed
Oh shit! Who's
by
gonna
their
get
son coming
stabbed?
up. We're gonna talk about that before Delin and Cwic and stuff, but where'd it go? Did it? I did an overly Candace schizo thumbnail because I did this Ween song. Anybody fan of Ween out there? Ween. My band covers Ween, and Ween is a South Park guy's favorite band. And if you play
Wow.
a Ween song, no matter where you are at in the country, there's always one person in the bar who gets it, and like the whole rest of the people just that's the song, you know. But and a lot of times that's like the chef or the cook running in from the back. They'll just come running in. Yeah, Ween. Yeah, there's like crazy like wieners, and
I think I know like one Ween song. I can't remember what it is though.
you got to get into Ween because they're hilarious, but they're good. So like they're very good players, but they're also funny, kind of like South Park funny. But it's not like over the top funny. It's just kind of a little bit winking at you funny. But they try every genre. Like they just do not stick to a genre at all. They just go around and they'll do some funk album, they'll do a country album, they'll do whatever, and they're really really good, and definitely huge influences on Trey and Matt Stone. They actually played at they play with them at their live concert that they play in
Oh yeah,
Colorado.
Did
Yeah,
you
them
know
and Prime.
they were also an inspiration to Steven Hillenburg? That's the SpongeBob creator.
Oh really? I would
Yeah,
imagine that.
he was a marine biologist, and he really liked the Mollusk album in '97.
Yeah. And that's totally a different thing like that too. But this song by Ween called Buenos Tardes Amigo, which is Buenos is wrong. It's supposed to be Buenos, but that's kind of funny that they get it wrong. Oh, it's spelled even wrong too. Buenos, Buenos Tardes Amigo. But it's just kind of like riffing on like an old Mexican kind of Clint Eastwoody song. And it's this guy who has met the person who killed his brother. So it's like Inigo Montoya there. Like, I finally met the person who killed my father. But in the Buenos Tardes Amigo song, he reveals at the end of it that the person he's hunted down who killed his brother didn't kill his brother. He killed his brother himself. But he still had to go through with finding the guy who everybody thinks killed his brother. And then my long-winded roundabout way to saying that is Inigo Montoya there. Maybe he was the one who killed his own father that whole time.
Holy
And
shit!
he was going, and then it all links back to Rob Reiner, who directed the whole thing, who maybe Inigo Montoya, who looks like Nick Reiner, killed his father. That's my Candace schizo connections with my thumbnail.
That reminds me. What, in your opinion, is the laziest, most played out fan theory trope out there? Because you came up with the fan theory that Inigo killed his own dad. And
Yeah, I just barely came up with that in the wake of Rob Reiner having done it, but then just linking the Ween song to it. But and he was hinting to us. He was telling us the future. What's that word that they say when they start seeding stuff early? Like they talk about 9/11 attacks before 9/11 happened. It's like cultural conditioning. There's some sort of CIA term for it or something like that. But there's Risto. But I'm going to make that a fan theory now. That could just be a fan theory. He was delusional and he killed his father himself, and then he just inserted the six finger man in place. I guess that should have been wait a minute. That's conditioning too. The six finger man, it was AI. He was chasing down AI. He was trying to blame AI because a six finger man would only be an AI created man. Look at this. This is how you can connect dots when you start asking questions.
Dude, I don't know how you listen to Candace.
I always liked the Karate Kid fan theory, and then they turned it into a good continuing TV show. And that was really creative of them.
Oh, like a fan theory that Daniel was actually the asshole?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did the dumbest one is he was dead the whole time. That's just, and
Oh, they pull that off almost anywhere, right?
Oh yeah, you can put that in because it's just lazy.
Yeah.
There's a couple when I first
It
started
was
that I
all a
liked.
dream. It
Yeah,
was all a dream.
they did that for the Majora's Mask. There's a lot of people that think that Link was dead during that game and having to accept his death. I was like, I kind of like that, but like
The Lost TV series.
oh my god, I never watched Lost. I worked at the movie theater and all of my coworkers watched it. And so like over the years it was really weird. Um it was really weird seeing like just listening to them talk about it. They're like, "Yeah, man, they crashed on this island. That was crazy." "Oh, did you see that episode last week where they found that weird person?" "Oh, yeah, and then did you see that they were in purgatory?" "Oh, yeah, that episode last week where they went back in time." This is just a progression over the years of hearing it get crazier and crazier. I was like, what the fuck is this? They're like, "You haven't watched it?" "Oh, sorry for spoiling it." And I was like, "No, thanks for spoiling it. Now I'm never going to watch it."
Yeah, I don't know if they ever like agreed to that was the fan theory of that whole one though, but I think I hear people are saying it the same as Severance and that sort of deal. There's a book that's one of my favorite Latino books, which was one of the big books of the boom by Juan Rufo about the Media Luna. Juan Rufo, Pedro Paramo was it, and that one really is they were dead all the time, the whole time. I just spoiled it. Well, it's not really spoiled. Rob Reiner, man. I just watched some more extended stuff on Dr. Granda covering it, and Megan Kelly's been covering it, and Glenn Greenwald's been covering it, and all that sorts of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched half of the movie that they made together.
Yeah.
And the movie is entirely about it really just kind of gets into line of what we've been talking about with like those Foucauldian revisionism of prison stuff. The movie is completely about the kid realized that rehab wasn't for him and he should make his own way, and his parents should have been listening to him all along.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, that's what the movie is about.
Come on, Rob.
And
I almost watched his South Park episode again the other day. And
oh man, that's so early,
like,
isn't it?
I don't know. It's too soon because it's hilarious.
Yeah, man, he popped up everywhere, and people have been sharing stuff about he was a part of a comedy roast, and in the comedy roast, like half the jokes were about graping children, and everybody's saying that's weird, man. I think that's weird. I think that means something, but I think they were just roast jokes. But I thought the guy was a nut job and just overly psycho on Twitter for years, like enough to like, why is this guy still going? But I think it's actually absolutely terrible. This happened to dude. It sucks.
Oh yeah.
And it was really, really weird to see the way Trump.
That was everything about it was dumb. Because, like, here's the deal. I understand if it had been Trump, I'm sure Rob Reiner would have said something shitty. Although he was pretty nice about Charlie Kirk. I don't think he'd be nice about Trump. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But it's like, even if that's how you feel about him dying, that is the fucking dumbest political move to make.
Yeah. Just like everybody had all that high ground with Charlie Kirk for 3 months.
I know.
And you just pissed it all away. There's nothing I hate more than just pissing away high ground. Just let's just piss it all away.
And then most people aren't really trying to defend him, and the ones that are, it's just they're not doing like a great. Anthony Cumia, his defense was, I don't care because fuck it, I just don't care anymore. Good, I'm glad he said that.
Yeah.
I saw Styx defend it.
Styx just said, well, Styx, before Trump even said something, Styx said, good riddance. And he was one of the first ones that I was like, come on, man, just give it a day, like everything, just give it a day. Just like when Divas was dunking on Russell M. Nilsson on day one after that sort of thing. Like, give it 36 hours, I think, is probably the best one before you start saying stuff, or at least have the first thing you say. Because even Rob Reiner said something polite about the Charlie Kirk thing. Reese was asking what he said about the assassination attempt. That's a good question. He might have said something weird about that. But Reiner Reiner was in no way. Oh, there's Troy. Reiner was in no way. I bet you Troy knew Ween. There's got to be Ween people around in there. Reiner was more than just like a critic and a whiny person about Trump. Like the stuff that he did, he worked with Brennan and Clapper to create videos about Russiagate. You know, that's working with top CIA guys to create Russiagate propaganda. And so that is, you can give a little bit of lenience, like this was a true enemy to Trump and that sort of stuff. But still, let's just give it days. He killed by his kid. So I guess it like came out. I don't know if you heard this. That he was at a Conan O'Brien party. They were all together at a Conan O'Brien party before it happened. And I guess he went up to Bill Hader and was just acting really, really weird to Bill Hader and asking him questions like, "Are you famous or something, dude? Are you famous?"
Yeah, I heard he kept asking a lot of people that.
Yeah. And then Bill Hader told him that they were having a private conversation. Then they got in a fight saying, "Hey, you made it really awkward." And then he went home, and they think within an hour to hour and a half of that, he had killed him, because then he was out and disappearing off to a hotel room to he blacked out the windows, and people say usually when guys like that black out a window of a hotel room, it's because they're going in to go on a bender. And then they caught him because they knew like his whereabouts, where he went to go get fixes and that sort of stuff.
Huh.
And there was blood in the hotel room. But he's still got like one of the most high priced lawyers as there is out there. And I don't know, I don't know why or how he's going to afford. Like, why would his parents or his parents' estate pay for the most high priced lawyer? It's the same lawyer Harvey Weinstein had. It's the same lawyer. It's like a really, really famous lawyer.
That's I don't know.
But maybe they would just, maybe if they were still alive or could speak from the grave, they'd be like, "He didn't know what he did. Our boy, boopy boy, he did what he does." You know, who's to say that this is criminal or something? Like if they're out of their minds and doing some sort of thing like that. I just asked for a short review from Grok of like how Foucault changed the ideas around the punishment systems. And it's just talking about the critique of reform. And Michael Schellenberger talks a lot about how this stuff was actually implemented all over in California, especially in San Francisco. If you go talk to any sort of criminal theorist in those areas, they will regurgitate Foucauldian ideas about it.
Where did we
Colby Boylan was commenting it in real time, so I'll pull it up. But I didn't read it all. I don't, and I'm sure I've listened to you guys. I'm sure that you guys 100%. Well, I know that because I listened to RFM, and you say it live, and I could tell that you guys had done that research going back to it yourself. Let me see there. They said that he was live commenting on it. Hold on a second, I'll get to it. What were you saying?
What's Boylan's deal? I have not paid any attention to him, and it seems like pretty much everyone doesn't like him.
I thought it seems like all the Mormons think that he knows absolutely all things about scripture and deep lore, just like the super smartest of the smart of the.
I thought the Mormons didn't like him. Like I thought a decent amount of them. I don't know. I might be confusing with someone else.
Here you go. Watch the screen. So last night, a bunch of anti-Mormons got together on a podcast and presented numerous accusations against the Book of Mormon. The problem for them is that each accusation they presented has already been debunked and answered, or is simply rooted in ignorance. Robert Boylan in the thread goes through them. The impressive part, he did it off the top of his head as a live action thing. And so then he says right here, it will be interesting to see how Delenn, Colby, Douglas, Nemo, and Julia, none of whom have any training in textual criticism of the Old Testament, knowledge of Hebrew or other cognate languages, Ugaritic, or other relevant languages, will handle the data or be able to judge the work of Tavednis Perry. And my guess, copy and paste David P. Wright's hit and miss essay from American Apocrypha from 20 plus years ago. So I might have regurgitated wrong. He was guessing that you guys were going to be lifting off of that stuff. So there's right here for you more, say Robert Boyle, man. So I don't know where this, let me click into this, or if it's just on his Facebook. It's just on his Facebook. Yeah, he was doing it in real time.
Yeah, sorry guys. The new apologist strategy is just unbeatable. So you guys are you're fighting an uphill battle, because you'll say something and they'll be like, "That argument's old. It's been debunked."
Where did it? Well, I mean, I clicked into it and then there's nothing there. They said they were doing it in real time, but
You click on his Facebook. You gotta click on.
but that's what it is, isn't it? Like this, I'm clicking on where he's supposedly doing in real time. The link is going to go to the. Is this
Oh,
it?
I just assumed you were talking
Oh
about.
no, it is here. Yeah, no, this is it. Yeah, this is it. In case they reply upon Colby Townsend's utter garbage bullshit, really about Adam Clark and the Isaiah text in the Book of Mormon. See, the Dunning-Kruger bunch. Delenn Isaiah was written by 3 authors, none of them named Isaiah. Clapping seals agreed. Most scholars who accept. Is that all? Let's see. Claims his work is novel. However, David P. Wright did it, and I am sure he did it better in his Isaiah in the Book of Mormon or Joseph Smith in Isaiah essay. Of course, to make sense of that essay, one would need some knowledge of Hebrew, Greek, Ugaritic. Am I saying that right or wrong? And textual criticism. Which would be expect the brass lates to resemble Great Isaiah Scroll or Masoretic text of KJV, ignores the Sperry Adventists who were happy with the KJV being spelled in Isaiah chapters, were quoted in block and editions, and when Nephite records had significant changes, the Book of Mormon followed the KJV is not an issue. Also, look up Ben McGuire's work on the A versus B source of 1 Samuel 16 through 18 and 1 Nephi 3 through 4, showing that the Book of Mormon's use of the Bible can and is evidence of its pre-exilic origin, which no critic has ever dealt with, by the way. Yeah. I don't know that that's like a full commentary in real time. I was expecting like a longer thread of that or something, but he was predicting the thing. But
anytime I see something, oh, did you freeze?
No,
Okay,
unless I did.
Anytime I see something like this, I'm like, ooh, drama. I want to go see what's going on. And then they talk about Bible stuff, and I'm like,
Well, but I think if you go and listen to Colby and RFM episode, it's pretty clear stuff. It's just kind of like, look, we found some Isaiah scrolls after these things were written, and so did anybody check back on these most recent Isaiah scrolls on like how it says on the ways that Joseph changed them, and did he land any punches? Did he land any of the differences in something that he changed in what we found later to be kind of an unvarnished older version?
Oh yeah, that was Robert Boylan. Starbase reminded me. That was Robert Boylan that made that shitty post about Steve.
Yeah, Robert Boylan made a post about Steve Pinecker, hinting that Steve Pinecker was only taking Mormon missionaries out to lunch
because they're cute guys.
Because they're cute guys and he's gay and that sort of thing. And then Boylan is also the guy who came up with like that fake black apologist. Do you remember that whole thing?
No.
Yeah, that's one to cover or look up on I don't know how to like look that one up, but he on Mormon Stories somewhere too. But yeah, there was like a whole running thing where he made up a name of a fake black apologist and was kind of passing himself off online behind an avatar or something like that as a black apologist.
So it wasn't even like a joke or some type of experiment. It was just
is to have a black apologist. I think
he was just outwardly, purposefully lying. Okay,
that's Nigern. That's who Radio Free Mormon answered, and that's who Troy was asking about up at the top. But a lot of them talk about Boylan like Boylan is I haven't listened to him or followed enough. Well, I tried to listen to him once. I know that like just recently Jonah was pushing to get him some money for some sort of medical thing that he had going on, even after Boylan had said that his scholarship was shitty too. But somebody needs to get him a microphone or something. I mean, it doesn't take that very much to set up here or any sort of thing like that. And the microphone, I couldn't listen to him because I mean he's got like an Irish accent, and he was just like in a room and he was just talking about stuff and it was just tough to follow. But just for the sound quality of the whole thing. But people say or act like he's just got deep biblical knowledge on stuff.
Oh, we got Culch in the chat. I haven't seen him for a while.
Oh, what's up? Everybody's checking in to see just the drama of Boylan having said something on the Isaiah stuff. But like always with those propositional things and those claims and that sort of stuff like that. It's pretty tough to get around. It's pretty tough to get around those ideas, or just noticing that there's not a lot of hits and misses with not a lot of hits with that Joseph could have had as hits in learning about that sort of stuff. Anyway, should we keep talking about Rob Reiner? But I mean, we were just kind of getting into the concept where I was talking about the idea of Foucault and his ideas in criminality, and how he just kind of brings up like the idea of any sort of reform can be viewed as something that's just like strength and control and power, and it's a critique of surveillance and surveillance over force, but it's the creation of calling something criminal or criminal like that is itself the problem. Like, you made the criminal by calling it a criminal.
See, so Oprah didn't even come up with the idea of manifestation. Like, why does she get all the credit for that? Foucault did it way earlier. We manifested criminality into existence by calling murder bad and illegal. I don't know, is the idea that we created murders by doing that? Or it's just wrong for us to classify something criminal at all?
Yeah, it's all categorization. It's bad categorization. We created the concept of the category of criminal. We created the concept of the category of the homeless or a drug addict. Who's to say that somebody is worse or wrong or different because of that? And I don't know if Reiner's kid was pushing out those sort of ideas on him. But if you watch the movie, it's called Being Charlie, and the whole thing is, it starts out with him in a rehab in Provo. And it's funny because I've read what's his name from Friends, the addict from Friends, Matt
Dillahunty.
Matt Dillahunty, no. The other, the one everyone knows, the addict.
I don't know
why
I can't think of his name right now. But
he said he had to go to like Provo rehabs again and again and again. And Flip did some work and worked for some time in some of those rehabs, and he tends to agree a little bit.
Matthew Perry, yeah.
Matthew Perry, that's who it was. He did a bunch of different stints in those Provo places, and Flip worked in one of them for a little while. And he said, I don't think he's even allowed to say, so I won't repeat it, but even some celebrity type people were around there and in it. And he said that there is some sort of sense that there's some bullcrap about those places. But Reiner's movie and Reiner talking about it said that they totally felt that those places were just there to exploit or profit off of people and not really help them and that sort of deal. And they were making that case. They kind of made that case of that movie a little bit. And but I was listening as Dr. Drew reviewed it, and Dr. Drew said rehab things are not, and of course Dr. Grande of course said you should have used the professional and gone to get help with that sort of stuff. But Dr. Drew said one of the biggest things that helps them is let them go to jail, man. Let them go to prison. Let them suffer for the consequences of the thing. Oh, I've still got this screen up here of the Boylan thing going on. But I don't know. It'd be interesting because Boylan, people keep saying like people should debate Boylan and Boylan should debate them. And I don't know if that guy is too shifty to ever do or agree to join one of those things. But it would be interesting to see if he can, because so many people always kind of like, I'll see people spout up, let's see them take on Boylan, type stuff. And I have yet to see why Boylan is so hardcore, but I haven't looked at him hard enough.
Yeah, Rista was mentioning that he was supposed to go on Pints of Aquinas, is that what you said? And then he backed out? I can't
Boylan was?
Well, he said someone was supposed to go back.
Rista, was Boylan going to go on Pints? Yeah, Rista's saying it right there.
You wanted Boylan to debate Randy Bell. Huh.
But both said that they were too busy.
Always trying to stir shit, Casey, that one. That's that shifty bastard right there.
I have not followed enough of Boylan to say one way or the other. He did. You remember one time he pulled up our Dan McClellan memes and he liked some of those. But,
those got reposted recently. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw
one of the memes got posted. in the Lobsters group, and so I had to spam the comment section with the rest of them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know enough about him. Risto says he knows Catholicism pretty well. Risto, how do you know Boylan? Did you interact with Boylan a whole lot?
Risto interacts with
Everybody.
everyone.
Yeah. Anyway, all the way back. Maybe we'll get off the Reiner thing, so we'll get back to this because I was going to talk about John DeLynn and Cwic next. But Ween, what am I talking about? Ween's all the way back to the original stuff I was saying. The Reiner thing just kind of seems like a general thing. It sucks that happened to the guy. It sucks that Trump acted like a dickhead about it. But also, there's just some sort of a sense of it's the idea of being overly permissible to problems. You know what I mean? It seems like that is a bigger theme than just it was some inter-family situation. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
There's got to be some sort of way that people start putting down the buck across society and saying, hey, we need to start saying no. We need to start calling things criminal again. We need to start saying, no, this is bad and bad behavior, and we need to do something about it.
Well, it's always it is always like the elites in like the elitists who like to wax philosophical, who start talking about that whole criminology thing, because that was even I always talk about the dinner parties in Dostoevsky books, and Demons had a couple of really great ones, because like that book is all about a young kid trying to basically lead a communist revolt, and he ends up killing someone. And anyway, he'd have these dinner parties with his rich friends, and they would all talk about that. All of Dostoevsky dinner parties end up, a bunch of snobby midwits end up talking about how crime isn't the fault of the criminal, and really it's just the system that's to blame, and we need to they do I think they even get into that whole, we need to change what we classify as criminal or whatever.
Yeah, and it's a problem. But that's across the board. That's in so many areas, not just the homeless or drug addiction or whatever. It's, maybe we'll get into the other stuff later, but just stuff we've already been talking about the past few weeks, or even when it comes to shootings and those types of deals. But anyway,
it would also be very difficult to even debate that with Michel Foucault, because you would obviously try to choose an extreme example that everyone would say we should classify as criminal, like being a pedophile, and then he'd be like, no, that shouldn't be criminalized. You're suppressing the child's sexuality. Like, oh fuck, okay, I can't even talk to you.
Yeah. Jonathan made us this CGI thing of John DeLynn right here, which we watched John DeLynn talk with Cwic from Cwic Media, and John with Cwic, we felt did a good job. He did a really good job talking to
good.
A conservative LDS dude, Cwic, who I know. I've been on Cwic show once before, and Cwic, I don't know that Cwic did so good kind of representing his position very well. And I was stopping and I was listening to it, and you realize that like once these guys get on some sort of platform or something like that, they might get a little bit off of some of the political messaging they were doing, and they just get right to thinking about converting. You know what I mean? Like, I hope somebody out there is going to hear this and get converted by what I say. And so it's like they shift off their typical messaging to sound like, hey, it's all nice and dandy and fun. Come on back here type stuff.
Yeah, you know what, Greg? I'm coming back to church. I believe all this shit again. The shiz, the crap. Sorry. I got to get used to not swearing.
Yeah, well, I just kind of felt like, because John asked him to kind of clarify his positions, and he just kind of said, oh, stuff can get kind of wild. It gets a little weird. It gets a little, they get a little out there in their beliefs. Even at BYU, there's some stuff that's kind of extra liberal and changing and that sort of stuff.
Culture's like, I haven't listened to it yet. Did Cwic sound like Jesse Ventura?
Yeah.
And it does, huh?
He did do that. Yeah. I was going to try to find it. But John at the end ends up saying the stuff that I generally say. I mean, this is one of the things that I think John's been interesting. And I know he talked about it with RFM and everybody on one night, just where, let's see if I can find it, where he just starts talking about how it's difficult to really, really difficult to create community. It's not such an easy thing to do outside of religion. And probably nobody knows that better than John. I think one of the reasons I said he does really good is I think he's getting particularly humble about that. And I find that interesting.
Yeah, we're in the Lynn redemption arc.
Yeah.
He even mentioned it. I didn't watch this whole thing. I probably got like 40 minutes in or something. But he mentioned somewhat early on about how a lot of the people listen to me are a lot more liberal minded, and they're probably going to get upset with me for not going hard against you. And I'll push back on some things probably, but I'm trying not to go hard against you because I know I've done that in the past. I went a little bit too hard on this guy, and I know I went too hard on Rod Meldrum.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. That was that was like the first video that I did with you, is we were clowning on him for that Rod Meldrum thing. And he did say, I'll credit that to Cara Burrell riling me up.
He passed it off to Cara because it might have been Cara. I mean,
she had a whole fucking mental breakdown for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, there is some sort of sense that all along, as we've been saying for years, like even Maven or whoever, like you need to bring in the oh my goodness, and it bars people from being able to just discuss and talk about things from a disinterested position, and that means more like an academic position, that you should be able to talk about these ideas and things and know what a person's position and stance is without having to stop for trigger warnings. And I think the world's kind of getting past trigger warnings.
Yeah. Well, that was, I mean, Pierce Morgan's definitely trying to hang on to it a little bit. Because we talked about his Nick Fuentes thing, and that was one of the things that was bad about his Nick Fuentes thing, is the entire thing was him letting you know his personal moral outrage over Nick's shitty beliefs. Instead of like, look, we know you don't like his beliefs. We're going to take that as granted. Like if I don't know, if I had somebody that thought it should be legal to cut the hand off of a woman if she talks back to you or something, I'll be talking to him and so what do you base this on? I'm going to be indifferent about it, or like sound disinterested when I'm talking to him, just get it out of him. And if somebody's like, why didn't you condemn the cutting hands off women thing? Like, I thought you would just think that was my stance to begin. I feel like it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
That
and it mirrors the way the right has been freaking out and talking about Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens and all that sorts of stuff. Like, why did you scream and yell at him and turn red in the face? Well, because we're trying to find out what he thinks, actually, type stuff. But here, this is the part.
You feel heartbroken.
And then depressed for years.
So in a sense, you kind of still hold up. You still have that young and childhood idealistic view of that truth of the gospel, and it's not. And now you're like, well, reality is different.
Well, now weirdly, like reading Joseph Smith's biography lately with John Turner, I've gained so much respect for Joseph Smith, and I know my viewers and listeners are going to throw up, some of them, when I say that. But like having tried to create a community or communities, having tried to help people find each other and support each other, trying to help people build happy, healthy, meaningful lives after religion, and seeing how much of a mess we can make of ourselves, seeing people's lives sometimes unravel when they leave the church sometimes, and most importantly, seeing how hard it is to lead a small group of people, let alone a group of thousands or tens of thousands. Mm-hmm. I've actually developed more empathy and respect for early and current church leaders than I ever had. And I actually now view scripture a lot more flexibly than I did. And I view prophets more flexibly than I did. The type of Mormonism that I had when I got excommunicated felt very compatible with the modern church. It's just that I think Mormon Stories came out too quickly and maybe a little bit too roughly. I think if Mormon Stories had come out now, I don't even know that they would have excommunicated me, honestly. You know?
Interesting. Yeah.
But I feel more.
Do you think they would have? I think they wouldn't now.
Not now, probably. I don't know, because I mean, early on, Mormon Stories was he's actually very good at staying neutral, and like when somebody, either an apologist or an ex-Mormon, said something stupid, he'd kind of push back in like a good interviewer way and be like, well, critics might say X as a response to that. What would your response to that criticism be? And that's a good interviewing technique, and he was very good at that. And then it was like, I don't know, maybe the 2010s, like he just got captured by a bunch of fucking entryists that came in there, and like, we're gonna take this neat interviewing platform and we're gonna inject our bullshit moralism into it. And
we're going to get away from examining these propositional ideas, like what is true or what isn't true, what's possible, what isn't possible, which I think he has done a good job kind of getting back to, making sure that's in there. When he did the Mormon discussions, he has his own Mormon discussions. I don't know why I titled that with the other thing called Mormon discussions. He's got his like own thread called Mormon discussions, where they really kind of just go back over. It's almost like a longer CES letter type thing, and I forget the name of the guy, Mike, that he does those with. But and that was the stuff when Flip and I were originally leaving, and we were back hanging around Mormon expressions and all that sort of stuff. That's all it was. That's all ex-Mormon was. You know, there's little bits of cultural stuff, you know what I mean? But it was 99% of things like they did yesterday, like reviewing the Isaiah stuff and seeing if it matches and lines up and seeing if it makes sense and that sort of deal. And the ex-Mormon side being the ones like calling and asking for debates and that sort of stuff. And then it got into like the cultural social stuff. We had like a 10-year fever spell, he said.
Yeah, that was when I was leaving the church. There was only like 20,000 people in the ex-Mormon subreddit when I first started paying attention, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. People all they talked about, they always had to morally posture and on anything. They had to condemn all the bad things, this misogynistic, transphobic, Islamophobic piece of shit, blah blah blah, blah, all the istophobes organization. And it was a lot less about historical things. I was just thinking about this, it's kind of a little bit unrelated. How depressed were you when you stopped believing in the church?
Me?
Yeah.
At that time, I was 23, 24 or something. Zero depressed?
Yeah, that's what I felt too. I mean, well, the only hard part about it is that Morgan was still active Mormon, and that part sucked because I'm like destroying her eternal marriage and shit like that. So that sucked. But like losing, I'm wondering if, you know how the apologists always do the shitty line that ex-Mormons hate, where they're like, oh, people who left the church never really had a testimony. I'm like, is that us? Like, are we those people that they're talking about? Like, were we never really Mormon? Because John Delen's talking about how depressed he was when he stopped.
I believe that from John.
Yeah, I know.
I think he was like super into it. And
I think he's still pretty Mormon. Like he's just, I don't know. If I met him in the street,
one of the reasons for success, and we've always joked about, he's got that success head. You know, he's got that head that just says, "Hello, I am your stake president." It's like this big bulgy head that looks like a stake president head. It looks like he's either got to be Craig Bolerjack announcing the nightly sports or your stake president. And so much about his life for sure could have been the stake president type person and that sort of thing. But for me, no, I'm one of the ones. I don't know how many people there are who are like me, who are still in it, but just admit that I never really felt or even said that I had any testimony, you know? And so for me, getting to the point of looking at all the stuff more closely and that sort of deal, it was just kind of like a relief. Like, okay, well, I thought I was kind of crazy seeing this stuff, and I must be too stupid. I must be dumber than these great, big, smart old guys. I'm too young to even guess at it. But then to see that some other people just already gone down that road and broken some things down themselves, I was like, oh, and in that sort of sense, I wasn't at all. I was a little bit worried about my parents finding out and that sort of deal, and I just kind of wanted to keep it quiet. And but then
it felt more like it did feel more like a relief to me. It was like real quick. It was like I read some stuff. I was like, I guess it's not true.
Yeah. And that's even after putting like 2 years of mission and all that stuff. I didn't feel bad. I mean, I guess I got Spanish out of it or something like that.
Yeah, I was back for my mission for like, I don't know, maybe a year and a half by the time I was done with it. And
I wish I took my mission a little bit easier. If I didn't, I was hardcore out
I wish
there,
I just
man.
didn't do my mission. I was hardcore for the first year, and then I was the shittiest missionary for the last half of it. I was like watching movies, and I told all my companions after the first year, I was like, P-Day has the word day in it. It's all fucking day. Okay. It's none of this going back to work at 6 o'clock bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Also, I'll use the fucking computer to email family. I'll use it as long as I want on P-Day. And I will watch YouTube videos on it. And I'm gonna wear my street clothes. All right.
I told you about my companion, the one with the tattoo on his back.
Yeah.
He's got the tattoo of the Doctrine and Covenant stuff on his back. Louisiana dude. Even
Book of
spoke
Abraham.
Spanish like Louisiana. Yo quiero decir que yo soy from Louisiana, okay? You know, and but they started putting meetings on P-Day, and he got so pissed off at it that we went to one of the meetings and it was running long, and it was just going on, and he just got up. In our meetings, like in Mexico City, almost everybody was at the meetings because we were all so close together that we could have like way bigger zones and way bigger groups and that sort of stuff. So it was a big meeting, and he just got up and barged the main guy giving the talk out of the way and said, "Vamos a tener la última canción y vamos a tener la última oración, yo lo digo." And he just says, like, bows his head, and then in that bad accent just says the prayer, and then everybody stops, and everybody just stops and looks around, and they just go, "Oh, okay," and then they just leave. Like nobody did anything about it. They just said okay and left. And it was one of the funniest things I ever saw in my life. Theo Morvon. That's exactly who he is.
That's funny. Tori had a funny one up there. He's talking about Delin, and he called him a POMI, physically out, mentally in.
Yeah. But the stuff he's starting to realize and talk about there is just, I think it's just the general angle that we've always been pointing at and saying, like, it shouldn't be that tough to say. It shouldn't like take skin off your hide or make you upset to go, dang man, they do community a whole lot better. And that's what the whole article that I was in the Deseret News about, and that sort of deal. And everybody turns so oikophobic, like, you know, inwardly hating of the people around them. And I think I have heard from the ex-Mormon world a whole lot lately about chilling off that, or still viewing the people around you as your friends and family. And I know I've even heard like RFM talk about he doesn't people assume he would deconvert people in the wild, like stop, drop, and start like railing them and giving them the third degree, and he doesn't do that and wouldn't do that sort of thing. And I think that's a good message to pass on. But I think one of the things that John's talking about is just that we've been saying, it's what Jonathan Strader was saying after the Charlie Kirk murder and all that stuff, is that he just doesn't feel comfortable going after something that creates good community, no matter what it is, if it just has like net positive community at all. And
yeah. Well, ex-Mormons are so weird about it, because I can't tell you the amount of like I said, it didn't depress me to leave the church, but I was obsessed with like learning new shit about Mormon history that I felt was hidden from me or whatever. So I would read a lot of ex-Mormon posts, and like there was so many of them. Like pretty much daily you'd get a post about how I don't understand how, like, my dad's one of the smartest guys I know. How does he believe this shit? And I was always, I just thought about it. I was like, have you not seen the things that really smart people believe? Like, you would have called a lot of Galileo's views insane, or I don't know, any smart person from history that probably believed in some insane shit.
The Starway says, if John did magic resumes, I think he'd cry realizing how much damage he's caused. He ran so quick that it's all Joseph's fault, and he starts sharing the facts, and his historical understanding is poor. I think there is a part of John, if you listen to this whole entire thing, because he talks about where is it? He says the word. He says secularism has failed or something like that. Here.
I think I can't. I told you this, and I'll say it publicly. I don't think secularism is the way. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to give me a magic wand, this would be a faithful Mormon's worst nightmare. If you were to give John DeLynn a magic wand and say, John, whatever you want, you wave the magic wand, you get it.
Mm-hmm.
I would not eliminate religion, and I would not eliminate Mormonism, because I don't think secular people have figured out a way to create not just community, but morality, spirituality, a sense of meaning, a sense of purpose,
Mm-hmm.
a sense of identity in any sustainable, coherent, lasting, profoundly affecting way. Now, there are individuals that have figured stuff out for them individually, but I care about society maybe even more than I do the individual.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in some ways, religion is the best we've ever come up with for helping people live happy, healthy, meaningful lives so far. And I'm just not necessarily happy with the practical results of secularism in the lived lives of people. That's not to say on an individual level,
I understand.
but on an aggregate social level. And so until there's something better, I don't want religion to go away. I just want the healthiest religion possible. And so, yes, I think there's so many people that feel a sense of emptiness, a loss of spirituality, and a loss of God, a loss of connection, a loss of prayer, a loss of spirituality and meaning, and even morality and structure. I think that stuff is good. And so it does not bother me at all when people come back to the church.
So doesn't it?
This is a psyop. This is a fucking psyop. I can smell this from a mile away. They've talked about this beforehand. This is just a scheme. John DeLynn is gonna go back to church, get rebaptized, say that it was Greg that did it. Greg's gonna baptize him, and it's just gonna get them both some more notoriety. Maple Lake Mountain was saying there's a quote similar to this made by Christopher Hitchens. I remember what you're talking about. That was kind of wild to me. He's just in a car with all the other atheist rock stars, and somebody was asking the question, like, if there was one more.
He was in a car with Doug Wilson, that supposed Christian nationalist who just debated Sam Harris again recently.
He was with Doug Wilson?
He was with Doug Wilson.
It might have been Doug.
I know in the car, the quote I think you're talking about. He's with Doug Wilson.
It must have been Doug that asked him the question. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, if there was one Christian man left on the world and everyone else was racist, and you could press a button, or not racist, atheist, and you could press a button to make him an atheist, would you do it? And Christopher Hitchens said, no, I wouldn't. And like all the other atheist rock stars are like, what the hell are you talking about? Are you? That's rather illogical.
Yeah. I mean, well, not just that. He's worried about like all the art and beauty. I mean, of course he couldn't. If you got rid of the Bible and stuff like that, it's so much about Western. If you want to like save Western literature in any way, so much of it doesn't make a lick of sense without that base.
What is this cast the first stone thing you're talking about?
Yeah.
What a beam in my eye? What do you say? Like half of our idioms.
You say Superman's a reference to who? Some guy, some Middle Eastern guy.
Somebody finds a Bible 1,000 years after everyone forgot about it. Is like, this seems like it was based on Superman. What a ripoff!
That's how it would go. That's how it would go, and like if people discovered this stuff way later.
What's that Derridian term for like the form and the? What am I thinking of? Where you have a pumpkin, and then you have the next step is a pumpkin pie, and the final step is pumpkin spice flavoring.
Oh, that's a Baudrillard.
Oh, is it
Baudrillard? The hyperreality or the simulacrum, hyperreality stuff. You're talking about. Let's see. Yeah, Baudrillard, like dinosaurs and chicken. Hold on. Like this meme here. Reminds me of Baudrillard. You got a dinosaur. Supposedly, a dinosaur turns to chicken. Chicken turns to eggs. And then they put it into dinosaur shape. But that's all a simulacra. Like the concept of what is a strawberry? What's strawberry flavor? And you eat like an old strawberry before that even got like jacked up on like modern farming type stuff. But not only do you not think that's strawberry, since then you've had that strawberry turn to strawberry extract, turn to strawberry candy, turn to strawberry slushy, and then you taste it like, I know what strawberry tastes like. And then you take some kid of the future who only thinks that's the strawberry flavor, and you go and give him some unchanged wild strawberry, and he goes, that's not a strawberry.
So Adam's Fall says, but he hasn't joined the community of Christ because nobody really wants a religion like that. I was actually thinking about that when he was saying that secularism doesn't work to replace religion, and it's something you can notice if you attend just like a couple churches that are a little bit different from each other. And we've talked about this before. It's the more libertarian your church gets, the easier it is, but also it's just going to collapse on itself if you don't have gatekeepers and change the ship of Theseus very, very slowly, bit by bit, instead of everything all at once.
Yeah.
Whereas the more orthodox, rigid churches sort of stand the test of time a little bit better. And that's secularism is like the ultimate ideology of like libertarian.
Well, that's just part of it. Is it seems like Risto said up there before. How did he say it? The healthiest religion possible that aligns with non-religious morals, type stuff. And there's some sort of thing of like, yeah, you guys don't get it. That's generally why I said in that article, and I said when we were on with Jacob Hansen, that the people running the things can't be this postmodern believer. It can't, like, the person running it can't be this person saying, I'm just doing this because I secretly think I'm that will fail as hard as anything. You gotta have the fire of true belief.
Oh yeah,
at the top, or you're gonna get a simulacrum. You're gonna get a Baudrillardian dinosaur chicken and not an actual dinosaur or chicken.
Well, and it's Jonathan mentioned it several times about how, I don't know, I get the benefit of having grown up in a structure like Mormonism, so maybe I can, base my current morals loosely off something like that. But then my kids don't get that. So I'm like, shit, what do I do? Yeah. Do I have to go to a church?
But I think that's a lot of the stuff. I think Down H. Oaks said in that same talk that I praised in the thing just for saying touch grass and have babies, which is a good thing to say any old time, any old place. I don't want this to fall over like did last week. But in that same talk, he said something about being against individualism. If you remember that talk, it was really kind of weird. But
who?
Oaks did in that same talk where he said touch grass, and I think what he was referencing, because everybody's like, what? I thought these guys were all kind of individualists, but I think what he was talking about was thinking on a bigger societal picture, although I might be being an apologist for whatever he was trying to mean there. But one of the things that like the Carl Truman wrote this book about like expressive individualism, and the expressive individualism is part of this thing that is deracinating of a culture. It's a deracinating of a group, where if everybody's just going to split down off into our own AI slop bubble. Oh, I was going to talk about that tonight. Slop was declared year of the word of the year by Mary.
Congratulations, Slop. Did you like to thank God?
Yeah. But what was I just talking about? Oh, but yeah, just everybody's like siloed off, watching your own TikToks in your own little screen. We're gonna not be a society anymore. Like it's hard to jump. That's a jump. That's a jump to a conclusion. But that jump is happening. Like we are falling apart at the seams of a shared societal view of anything, and to have any sort of shared societal view. Tucker Carlson was just talking about it earlier tonight because he was ripping on the immigration, some sort of thing like that. But he says, if we can't be like American, or say that you're supposed to like or hold people's feet to the fire, that when you come to this country, you're supposed to give some sort of credence or say that you want to buy into the creedal thing. It can't be that, well, what do you guys believe in? I don't know, gay multiculturalism. Like that. Like that's not going to be the unifying the unifying thing that people get championed behind, and that's what they're genuinely trying to push the world. Like neocons were like, we're gonna go push our free market liberals into the world, and then the neoliberals came along and said, well, how about we go and try pushing
queer feminist theory.
Yeah, let's go push
Let's
Will
go to
and
these
Grace to the
women
world.
Yeah, let's go find all these Iraqi women that wear hijabs all day and are physical property and show them this sick ass postmodern toilet art.
Show them Will and Grace and I don't know what would be milk before meat before them or something like that.
Such a profoundly naive blank slate mentality
Oh,
that you think you could just like explain a lifetime of conditioning into religious beliefs. You just explain it away in like a couple months of classes. You're like, actually, it's totally okay to be gay.
Of crappy U.S. television, Netflix television series. Look, this minor girl was transgender back in. Oh, that's the new movie that's out now. Some old timey minor girl who was. Have you seen that movie floating around?
Yeah, it's Pedro Pascal's sister.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's already out if you watch it in Spanish. Actually, I think.
Well, I guess I could watch that.
Because yeah, it was from. I think it was produced in Argentina. So it's originally. So if you watch the trailer, the English trailer, the voiceovers sound terrible.
But it's so funny because like how you go saying this stuff and talking about it, and we're just talking about like what's being centered, like what's being aimed at, what's at the top of the Platonic pyramid up there, and that has to be something. Yeah,
and it's not just at the top of the pyramid; it's the entire pyramid.
But in a weird way, we felt we could just go march the world and liberalize them all by showing them Modern Family or something. I don't know what, like how do they do it? Modern Family, Will and Grace. Like, hey, Afghani ladies, have you seen Brokeback Mountain? That sort of stuff. Just kind of push it into the world. But I mean, I think just kind of one of the general points that people are saying to that stuff is we need to worry about the marginalized, and then they've worried about the marginalized so much that they 100% centered the marginalized and leave an overarching thing that people can't get behind like they ever could for a religion. And if you aren't going to have a bunch of people getting together, or maybe like a country, maybe like the United States or something like that, but that's all gone too. Like, you know, half the world thinks it's fascism to like your country in any way, shape, or form. Here's Doug Wilson in the car. I mean, Christopher Hitchens with Doug Wilson.
At some point, certainly, we're all asked, well, which is the best argument you've yet come up against from the other side? And I think every one of us picks the fine-tuning one as the most intriguing.
The Goldilocks.
Yeah. Fine-tuning the 1 degree, well, 1 hair different is nothing. But even though it doesn't prove design, doesn't prove a designer, could all have happened without it. You have to spend time thinking about it, working on it. It's not a trivial. We all say that. And then at one point, I think this is not on camera. I said, if I could convert everyone in the world, not convert, if I could convince to be a non-believer, and I've really done brilliantly, and there was only one left, one more, and then it'd be done. There'll be no more religion in the world, no more deism. I wouldn't do it. And Dawkins said, "What do you mean you wouldn't do it?" I said, "I don't know why I wouldn't do it. And it's not just because there would be nothing left to argue with and no one left to argue with. It's not just that, though there would be that. Somehow, if I could drive it out of the world, I wouldn't. And the incredulity with which he looked.
They put music to this, or was that part of the documentary?
This
Stays with me still.
Yeah, it's part of the documentary.
Yeah. Okay, so I flubbed it. They weren't in the car with him saying that. He just regales the tale of them being incredulous over that.
So Doug Wilson there, because when they made a whole documentary of that, and they had a series of live discussions way back then, but he just barely was on with Sam Harris, maybe like a month ago.
That's Forrest. You remember one time Riso asked Forrest the magic wand question for Jacob, because Jacob's the last active Mormon sibling, and Forrest was like, "Yeah, I'd waive it." Of course, I'd make him not Mormon.
I think Forrest would at least at the point he's at right now would go all the way where Hitchens wouldn't right there.
Yeah, probably.
uh,
He'd be like Dawkins, like, what is retard talking about?
I wouldn't wave it away at all. Like, I don't know how to describe it or even put it into like words or tone. And just like you talked about with the Christmas lights and all that stuff with Jacob, but and maybe it's just because I had a great childhood around that stuff. Nothing bad ever happened to me, and I understand bad stuff happened to people, but the first half of my life before I went on a mission till after seemed like the Shire. It 100% did. You know, growing up Mormon in Utah was the Shire, and you would kind of hope, how could you recreate other Shires in the world? And maybe you could over have like little bubbles or moments of the Shire like that, because something like that is there in it. And whenever it comes around again in the future for whoever else gets it, because I don't know if there's any Shires out there.
Well, then you come back and Sharky fucked it all up, and now Sharky's feeling a little bit bad about all like fucking it all up, so it's a little bit different. Problem was, he could march right in there and fuck it all up because there's nobody defending the borders. The ones that were trying just say shit like, that's been debunked a long time ago.
Risa says you wouldn't be worried if someone waved it. Is that just because you believe that since it's the truth or whatever out there, they just all start getting it back or learning it again or having it come back out, maybe even purified or something like that?
I mean, if you believe in God and you believe in Christianity, then you would have to believe that God would make Christianity come back. He'd inspire a new prophet to, I don't know, pick up the mantle.
You said they gain more than Shire by leaving, which is true, but isn't all of this to kind of hopefully create other Shires out there or get back to it in some sort of way so people can forget about the worries of the world again until it has to be braved once more? The world is lone and dreary. Growing up in Eden isn't so bad. Reese says, I believe in God. Yeah. So, but if we waved away your belief, you think it would come back sometimes?
What do you mean by believe? And what do you mean by in?
I've sometimes wondered, because like here's Doug Wilson, and Paul Vanderklay reviewed this, and he was really bothered by it, if you know who Paul Vanderklay is. And he was bothered by it because he felt like both these guys just gave each other exactly what they wanted, and they're both capable of more. Like, they're both capable of actually trying to meet each other, but Sam just wanted to show that there's a nutty Christian nationalist out there, and Doug just wanted to say, yeah, I'm hardcore. I fully believe this Bible through and through. And so they weren't trying to, maybe a little bit more like Cwic and John were, like they were trying to
They were both talking to an audience.
They were talking to an audience, and these guys were both just trying to dunk on each other like 100%. And Doug was trying to be the base Chad meme, like, yes, I believe that. Whereas Sam was trying to be like, see, he's almost kind of like the Pierce Morgan. See, he's not that they were as combative as Pierce Morgan was or anything like that, but he was trying to show people like, yep, there's Christian nationalists out there. But I've sometimes wondered, like, if I was to talk to a Doug Wilson or somebody like that, what does he think of us? Like, does he think we are better because we left Mormonism? He just mentioned Mormonism yesterday and said Mormonism isn't Christianity.
Oh, dude, I've tried asking Christians before. And like, there's some Mormon versus Christian Facebook groups, or some. I found a Christian ex-Mormon Facebook page. I must have gotten kicked out of it because I haven't seen it in years, but I wasn't super inflammatory in that. I remember asking them like, okay, but here's the deal. You guys really like Christianity and belief in God, right? Theism is preferable to atheism. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so the overwhelming majority of Mormons who leave the church become atheists. Would you rather them be a Mormon with a structured religion, or or an atheist? Which one would you prefer? And that's a false dichotomy. Shut the. It's a hypothetical, jackass. And I don't.
But even beyond that, does Doug Wilson think I've done better by leaving the Mormonism, or
He probably thinks
worse by becoming?
You are one step closer to the truth, because some of those people, like, they get real.
So they
crazy.
think going away from Mormonism, even if it's not to some new religion or if it's an atheism, is closer to him. I wouldn't be closer to him by going back to Mormonism, and then maybe what are they called up at Moscow, the Moscow church up there?
I don't remember. I've been thinking, my sister lives near Moscow. And
Which direction is out of Mormonism or in Mormonism closer to Doug Wilson? What would he think? You know,
I don't know about Doug Wilson. I think a lot of Christians, I know the ones that are the most fiery against Mormonism, I think they would prefer you to leave the church no matter what. And then once, like, you're an atheist, they, in the back of their head, just like Mormons do, they think, well, we can get him.
Risto, what do you think? Is out of Mormonism or in Mormonism closer to the right God?
Well, but part of this is just a different way in which we view religion, right? Because I look at religion basically the way that John Dehlin does, is something practical, something that is a good for society, or at least the best that we've done to have cohesive societies. So I'm looking at it all pragmatically. And my friend that's arguing with me, who's also ex-Mormon, because he was asking if I'm ever going to go to a church again, because he's, kind of exploring that. And I was like, maybe I should. And he's like, what church would you go to if you could? And I was like, honestly, the most practical church to go to around here is the Mormon church, because like all of my neighbors are Mormon and I know them and I'm familiar with the structure and they do community stuff. And he's like, but it's not true. And I was like, okay, but I'm not looking at it on that basis. Like, you're looking at it trying to find the one true church. I basically don't think there is a one true church. I'm looking at what is going to set my kids up the best. And there will be things in Mormonism that I've heard most of the shit that I didn't like about Mormonism is a little bit better now, because for me, like, internet porn was such a new thing that, like, our parents didn't know how to deal with it. And they had done that South Park Tiger Woods lie where all the men acted like they never watched porn or jerked off or anything like that. And so when, like, I thought I was the only kid that had ever watched porn and I wanted to die when I jerked off and stuff like that. So that sucked. So if, like, my kid came home and he's like, they say that jerking off is, like, almost as bad as murder. And I'd be like, no. I'll give you the context for that thing that they're saying. And also, it's not that bad, don't watch porn, but it's not the end of the world, if you do. So I can kind of mitigate the things that I find shitty about it. And now we basically understand that, like, it's actually all men want to look at boobs, of course, because boobs are awesome. So I think, I don't know, there's a lot less scruples around that.
I remember when I was a teen kid and some girl who was upset about it said, why do guys like boobs so much? And it threw my mind through a loop. Like I remember just being like, wait, why? I was just like gone. I was like gone for the rest of that afternoon. Like, why?
I remember doing that. There was a girl that she's trying to make us feel uncomfortable, and I was probably like 13 at the time, but for our age, she was very developed, and she walked up to us. She's like, why do guys like boobs so much? And I was like, I don't.
You're trying to tell her?
I hate boobs.
I think
like boobs at all.
I don't think I gave an answer, because I think I went down like a K-hole in my mind.
No, I know, you're like,
why?
it's my whole philosophy of, because fuck you. That's like, there's some questions I don't need to philosophically answer. Well, that one's easy because we're, evolutionarily hardwired.
I didn't know that
like
at that time.
They
didn't teach me evolution.
I understand. Did you think about evolution as a Mormon?
I remember being a kid, seeing it in the science book, and that we were going to skip the page. I remember that happening.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember seeing it, like the monkeys to the adults, the monkeys to the, like that page in there, and then saying, okay, well, we're jumping past that page. I remember that in at least 2 different grades, and just kind of wondering, like, okay, I guess that's just for when you're older or something like that. I didn't think it was because it was bad or a no or something like that.
Well, like, did you believe in evolution as a Mormon?
Yeah. I mean, I think I largely did by the time I definitely took like a heavy duty biology class. It was a little bit after my mission, and I started fading away pretty fast after my mission, but like I was still in, and I followed that whole entire class. I'm like, wow, that's all so interconnected. It's crazy.
Yeah, see,
And
I was taught it in school, and like my teacher gave the caveat of like some people don't think this is the way it happens, some people do, you know, so just relax. So I always just grew up believing it. And I remember on my mission, I think Utah Mormons are different. I always assume that Idaho Mormons and Utah Mormons are like basically the same thing because we have a similar level of Mormonism, like per
I thought they
capita.
kind of basically were a little.
I don't know. They're a little bit different beasts because we go there and there's me and my MTC companion. He's from Texas. I'm from Idaho. The entire rest of the district, all of them were from Utah, except maybe one sister. I don't remember. But one of them asked us one day, like, what do you guys think about dinosaurs? And I was like,
Oh,
what do you mean? Like, what's my favorite one? I don't really have a favorite one. And he's like, no, I mean, do you think they were real? Do you think they existed? I was
no,
like, yeah. What do you don't think they existed? He's like, why do you think they exist? I was like, because we found their bones. And he's like, I kind of think maybe God just put them there to test our faith. Like, yeah, God just was fucking with us.
well, so
Like,
I did come across that,
dude,
and it was
I put these bones in here. I put all this evidence to suggest that the Earth is billions of years old.
okay. It was Robert D. Hale's grandkid or grandniece that I dated. That one for a long time. She didn't believe in the dinosaurs, but neither is Candace Owens, so it's all okay. But no, yeah, I came across that. But I always thought there was, especially being in Utah, there was a difference between guys from weird little towns and then guys from the kind of the big metropolitan area.
Yeah.
You know? And but those weird little towns seem to be the same types of weird little towns in Idaho. They're like the Napoleon Dynamite people. That's the thing that people used to get so mad. I've said it before, but they get so mad at Napoleon Dynamite. Why is that even funny? I'm like, you don't get that that's real. Those guys are real. If you're a Mormon, you grow up Mormon, you go on a mission, and one day you wake up and you are in a room and you look across the room and it is Napoleon staring at you, asking you if you want some tots, and it's just you and him somewhere in Mexico. And I did not expect like 50% of my mission to be Napoleon Dynamite, you know.
Yeah,
and it was.
But it was.
Yeah, it totally was. And then the other 50% of them, like California Mormons, are definitely different than Utah Mormons. California Mormons, at least, 20, 30 years ago, they were way more chill.
So Morgan's from St. Louis, and I don't know, she wasn't much different from Utah Mormons, but the one key difference is that she listened to Christian rock. And I always felt like that was sort of an unwritten law, that was a bit of a no-no. You know what I'm saying? Not like you're not allowed to do it, but like, well, they teach a false doctrine, you know? Like, this song's singing about how all you need to do is accept Jesus and you're saved, and we know that's not true. Maybe that was just in my head. Maybe that other people are all right with it. But Morgan actually liked being in St. Louis because she's like the only person. She's like, there was like 2 Mormons in her school, and one of them was her brother. I'm like, I get that. I totally do, because I miss being the only ex-Mormon in my family. And in like none of Morgan's siblings go to church anymore. And I think 2 of mine still go. My mom doesn't go. And I'm like, that's not cool. It's kind of like how I need to stop swearing, because swearing's not cool anymore. I gotta say, I never want the pearl clutchers to go away when it comes to mean words, because as soon as the pearl clutchers go away, the word's not even fun anymore. Because fuck used to be a funny word. It's not funny anymore. Everyone says it, and they say it all the time. And it's just a dumb word. I don't even like it anymore. Retard's still funny, and I hope that's the best thing that Scott Brown does for the world, is that like every 3 days he'll post something about how we shouldn't say the R word. I'm like, God bless you, Scott, because you are the only person I know who is keeping the word retard hilarious.
Adams Falls says we always called the Utah Cali Mormons were slackers. I mean, I could see Salt Lake area guys were. I mean, Cardin calls them like just the cultural Mormons and that sort of stuff. Or how does he say it? It's like they're the burbs, the suburban Mormons. And there's a truth to that, like the way he digs into that. And maybe the worst possible version of that is the Real Housewives of Mormon whatever crap out there right now. Like I knew some girls like that. It definitely wasn't like the whole school, but there was a little clique, kind of like that clique. They've gotten worse in 20 years. But they were like that. They were a bit like that. And but it was a small clique. And then there was like a clique of totally just kind of normal Mormon girls who seemed to be headed BYU's direction and all that sort of stuff. But my wife is from PNW. What's that? Is that PNW? And she always says they are more orthodox in certain ways and less in other ways. From
I think
Canada.
he's.
No, that's the different.
Okay. I forgot to tell you. Remind you. Continue on this.
He
but
says
remind me-
California Mormon. Steve, you're a California Mormon. And Steve asked the question earlier that I wanted to answer, but Steve, I've been reading all of your comics as a Californian. I've been reading those comics as if they were from like Cincinnati area. I really
Yeah,
have. In my brain, I've been thinking that was like happening up and around there.
For some reason, I thought he was in the Midwest.
He is now. Like he's in
Okay.
that area, but
Yeah,
I didn't
maybe
know.
I
When I
think
read his kid comics, I was assuming it was happening up around the same area.
yeah, so did I. Anyway, I watched a little bit of the. I don't know. We only got like 20 minutes in before Morgan was like, "This is gay. Turn it off. I don't want to watch it anymore." It was the Heather Gay's Surviving Mormonism series.
Oh gosh.
And I wish I could find the clip. I'll have to find it and send it to you.
She
but
so
there's just-
badly wants to be Leah Remini.
I know.
What Leah Remini was for Scientology.
Well, so she's talking to, I don't remember the name of the guy, but it was a big scandal where he was like this big name Mormon guy who was talking about how you don't have to be gay, like, and trying to get men to stop being gay. But he was gay the whole time. Somebody threatened to out him, and so then he had to out himself. And now, and obviously it crushed his wife when it happened, and they had kids, and he decided to, now he's married to a man and they divorced after a couple of years, and they're talking and he's like, it was pretty terrible. You know, it sucked. Cause like, man, I broke my wife's heart. And Heather's response was like, some people might say you freed your wife from sort of the oppressive nature of a patriarchal Mormon marriage or something like that. I wish I could find the exact clip because it was hilariously how tone deaf she was when she worded it. And even the dude, I think, was a little struck by that. Like, she was acting like he did his wife a favor by dissolving their marriage and breaking her heart.
Yeah. Steve says, do you guys think people understand things well enough to even know if they should stay Mormon or not? And he also asked earlier that if you think you pretended to believe for a while, you could start believing it again.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I just don't want to.
Mr. Croissant Butcher is a California Mormon. Yeah. A bunch of my favorite missionaries on my mission were California Mormons. They were Orange County Mormons.
Well, so this first part of Steve's question was, what was it? Do you think people understand? Do you guys think that most people understand things well enough to know if they should stay Mormon or not? I would say no. I know that I didn't, because there was some stupid ass, like 14-year-old atheist level stuff that I said when I left. I remember talking to my friend, and he was ex-Mormon, but he left before I did. And he's trying to put together this whole God thing. And he was kind of trying to make the arguments that I make now about how we need religion. And I was pretty much like, I don't like most religion. You know, I liked religious people. I wasn't militant, but I was very naively saying that, like, you know, religion's just trying to control you or whatever. And and he said it's difficult to find a system to base your morality on after you've left religion and if you don't have religion. And I was like, no, it's not. And he's like, what would you base it on? I was like, logic. That's one of the most retarded things I've ever said. He's like, what are you talking? It's logical to have sex with like 100 women and to carry on your genes. It's logical to commit a genocide if you're worried that this group of people is getting too big and they might take you over. And
It's
I was like,
logical to abolish the earth, to stop all harm causing, to
Yeah.
stop all suffering.
it's and I was like, all right, you're right. That was retarded. I am so sorry I said that.
These are Vervaeke's 4 types of knowing. And he goes with the propositional, which you can think is like just truth claims type stuff, is describing with facts through rules by articulating. Memory is semantic and evaluated by truth. But then those other 3 areas are where the ex-Mormons start getting tripped up. Procedurals, doing with skills through routines by executing. Memory is procedural, evaluated by power. Perspectival is seeing with awareness through recognition by framing. Memory episodic, presence evaluated by presence. And participatory is being with identity through roles by co-creating. Memory. And he goes into all that stuff way more. Evaluated by belonging. But propositional, procedural, perspectival, participatory, and all that stuff is way more important. Like the ex-Mormons can really kill it on the propositional level. Like, we can get you guys on, boom, this thing's not very logical on this angel and that sort of thing, and whatever, magical. There's no magic. And then all the rest of it, I think they're pretty just, you don't have any sort of cultural or community technology that competes with it.
This is very Peterson type language, and I don't know, they don't speak that language. And I don't know, you always talk about the whole STEM brain thing, and that's definitely me entirely. So it takes me a while to even want to make sense of stuff like this. But
Well,
I do. There is sort of a
one is like the participatory or procedural. Like, where's the routine? Where's the like a community routine, or getting together or participating in rituals, family events, marriages, that sorts of stuff that branch out beyond in the community more than just you and your close chosen friends or something like that. Just in this stuff is I'm getting a feedback of this myself or something.
Starbase says that us non-Utah people agree release time seminary is soft. And then Mr. Sambusher asked what release time seminary is. Release time seminary is like if you live in a highly populated Mormon area, they have a seminary building like right outside the school, and you don't get a high school credit for it, but one of your classes can be seminary. And I would say I would almost prefer early morning seminary, not because I would enjoy it. I would have hated getting up that early, but I could have had another fucking elective. My elective was always banned, and I couldn't take any cool electives like shop or anything like that because my other one was seminary. And also our school district, like, they centered the amount of high school credits that you would have to receive they centered it around seminary. So if you took seminary all 4 years, the amount of credits that it was possible for you to receive was the exact amount of credits that you needed to graduate.
Yeah, and that messed me up, actually.
Did it?
Yeah, I had to do 1 week of summer school after the end of my high school because we had these things called U's, which were truancies or that sort of thing. And if you're late to like a certain amount of classes or something like that, you had to work off this overtime. So I had to go to summer school for a week after my final week of school to work that off and graduate. But they also didn't let me walk. And it was actually maybe one of the best things that ever happened to me because my mom could have marched in there and told them like, "Oh, come on," sort of thing. And I had a bunch of friends trying to make a racket of it too, saying, "Come on, come on." And they didn't let me do it. They toughed it out and they let me do it. And I credit that moment for my perfect grades in college because I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I was so like that. Those are the types of borders that you need on
Oh,
stuff.
dude,
Types of
shame
punishments.
will drive me to do some. That's gonna be my most. Probably my best motivator is shame. Steve says he played the tuba. He asked me what instrument I play. I played alto sax in school, and he said he played the tuba. And I'm like, I could have guessed that. You know, like if somebody asked me what instrument did Steve play in band, I would have either guessed the tuba or the trombone. I might have guessed the trombone first. It just that I don't know. Those instruments just fit Steve very well.
Clarinet, man, clarinet. Well, trombone, yeah. Ryan says, use your dating yourself. Yeah, that is totally true. That was a big thing around the Murray High School when I went
Used?
there. Yeah, the use are the truancies. Yeah.
Oh,
But part of it was like I would go away. I had so I only graduated 2 of the 4 years of seminary. My third year of it or something, my sophomore year, I got asked to not come back the rest of the year because I wasn't allowing for the spirit in the classroom. And I thought it was funny. I wish my parents had that letter somewhere, and I got kicked out. But then I went back the last 2 years. But then I just started sloughing a whole lot because I had it first period. And so when I was sloughing, I'd just get there late, and then I'd get there late. I'd get to another thing. It gave me like a U, and I wouldn't have had the U if I just would have gotten like other credits and graduated earlier. It wouldn't have mattered. You know what I mean? But no, because of all that coming down to the deadline, I wasn't able to walk at graduation ceremony with my friends, and I was so embarrassed about it that I went ahead and graduated magna cum laude. But no, it genuinely put a fire under my ass. And
Mitchell says I played the alto sax. Biggest mistake. Such a lame instrument. I liked it, but it's because I don't know. The reason I liked it is just because I would never play what we were playing. I'd either just make up my own shit, just kind of ad lib, and my teacher never know. The people sitting next to me always noticed, and they'd be like, "Would you fucking stop it?" And then they just got used to it. Or I would just play the melody because it's usually the trumpets that get the melody or the flutes. But it was hilarious. One of the most annoying things ever. My mom, one day, like we were poor, and she's like, "I bought you a saxophone." Because we had just been renting one from the school, and it was a pretty decent one. And I was like, "Oh, that's too expensive, Mom." She's like, "It was only $120." Like, "Oh, fuck, this thing's gonna be a piece of shit," and it was. So on the gooseneck of the saxophone, at the very top is the octave key, and through a series of mechanisms, you push down on your left thumb, and it lifts up the octave key, lets you go up an octave. Right? Mine was busted, so the thumb key would not lift the octave key. If you're at a low enough octave up, you can just kind of switch your armature, the shape of your mouth, and you can octave up yourself without hitting the key. But once you get higher, you can't do that. And the higher notes obviously use less fingers. So I had to, whenever I got to my right hand free where I'm pressing no buttons, it was too high at pitch for me to just do it with mouth shape alone. So I would have to whip my hand up here and manually open the octave key and then whip it back down pretty quickly. But then if you go super, super high, like a high E or something, you have to press one of the buttons that you're supposed to press down with your right inside of your palm. and so I would have to hit that with my elbow. And it was like a 30-second note or some shit like that. So it was really quick. We were playing Sleigh Ride, like do 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 do. Like I was just all over the place. It was kind of fun. But that saxophone sucked ass.
my grandpa would pray, "Dear Lord, please bless this Karn," but my grandma made him change. Oh, I think you were talking about Utah slang. You said slough is a Utah slang. I didn't know sloughing was a Utah slang. Dick Van Dyke is now too old for the recommended play ages for Lego. Detroit.
What is it, 1 to 99 or something?
Yeah, I guess he is.
Is he really? I didn't even know he was still alive.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
he's still cranking.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was actually thinking Carl Reiner was still alive, but he lived to 98, but I guess it was a couple years ago that he passed. But I was like, man, Carl Reiner might have outlived him. But Adam Carolla was talking about Dick Van Dyke just this week, and he was like, it's got to be good to live that long, because then you can be the one who just makes up all the stories about all the people who are around, and nobody can correct you on anything. You just say, like, this guy was this kind of dick, and that guy was that kind of dick. And he said it to his grandma, and his grandma told him, was like, you're not going to be the one who lives the longest. And he's like, well, thanks, Grandma. Let's see here. So I talked with Alejandro from the Lobsters after he read that article yesterday for an hour or so. He's going to put it out. But one of the things that he mentioned is he's going into graduate school at BYU for psychology. And he says Jordan Peterson, he's afraid he's going to have to shut down Lobsters because he's afraid being associated with Peterson.
Oh, shit.
There could be no cancelable stuff for him, even over at BYU.
That's retarded. I mean, he just made Trevor Larson a mod, so maybe he'll just hand the group off to him.
I think that's kind of what he's doing, but I was asking, are they really that hard or that angry, or like, what is it about him? He's like, I don't know. Just some people just not want it when it happens, and I don't want them looking at me differently for it or something like that.
Yeah.
But I also talked to him for a while, and he says he's done some actual research, that like published research on why the youth leave and all that sorts of stuff. And he says none of it is any of the propositional stuff or any sort of thing like that. He says it's almost kind of just more just socially lazy. Like, it's kind of not, and he didn't mean it like how Mormons usually say that. Socialism. It's just kind of like getting to a point where they're like, and it's like that's the bigger thing nowadays. But he says the main reason people ever say that they come back, according to his data, is that they say that they felt like they no longer had a relationship with God and they wanted a relationship with God again. But he said most of the leaving is younger people, and the younger people actually are very wishy-washy about, it's not really like, they're not like hardcore, like they lied to me about the propositions, or they this or that. That's according to him and his dad. I know that he's placed it on the Lobsters there before somewhere.
Oh, dude, yeah, millennials were definitely we were militant assholes when we left the church. I don't know. I caught so much shit in the ex-Mormon subreddit for some of the things I posted. I mean, I had that post about Islam, and I'm like, look, guys, Islam is a terrible religion. we got to be honest about it. And it's funny because it got, what's that?
And you weren't supposed to say that?
No, it got a lot more upvotes and downvotes. It's just the upvoters didn't really say a whole lot until somebody cross-posted it to ex-Muslim, and those dudes came and had my fucking back.
No, oh, no.
Oh, yeah. The ex-Muslims were like, you guys don't know shit. And it was awesome. And I had one where I was like, why are we making a big deal about John DeLynn getting excommunicated? He doesn't believe in his church. Like, he doesn't, and he spends all his time debunking it, which is fine. That's what a lot of us are doing, but why does he care? Like, it's barbaric, or Jeremy Reynolds making a big
that was also weird
about his kangaroo court. You were just going to excommunicate me anyway. Nothing I say could change that. I was like, you wrote the ex-Mormon Bible, dude.
Yeah, or Nemo.
Nemo did the full Jesus thing. Holy fuck, that was cringe.
Yeah. And ours was just like, okay, see you out the back door. Bye, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'd get mad at certain things. Like, I'd be like, man, Joseph Smith was a dick. Here's this reason and this reason and this reason. And then a couple of years, like, I don't know. I didn't feel personally hurt by it. I
never felt like that. And it's a little bit back to that thing that's happening with the generational divide with Fuentes and all that sorts of stuff, where I don't know if you saw it kind of went viral that he said that guy said, me mom died in the Holly. You're just complaining about those Y words in Britain, and then
I know
me mom died in the Holly. Oh gosh!
I know.
The guy said it. He went and said it, and so now they have the meme of it.
Oh, crazy!
Because the guy repeated it.
Nobody fucking knows how to deal with Fuentes.
Yeah.
Who's done the best so far? Who's dealt with Fuentes the best?
actually acting with him or just kind of goofing on him online?
Like just dealing with him and addressing him on like a video or an interview or whatever.
If they're together, like going at each other, probably Jay Dyer. But that really just got into him getting into Catholic debates and just kind of getting Nick twisted up on Catholicism, which is kind of a difficult thing for Nick because so much of what he's basing even his politics on is Catholicism. You know what I mean? And Jay Dyer, being the hardcore ex-Catholic, now ortho guy, is probably no better person in the world to just go dunk on everything that's happened through who knows what Vatican II, all the different popes, all the different papacies, all the different whatevers in the world. And he just kind of trounced Nick at that stuff. And then that just kind of, and then he also has a lot of the actual details about the times the Catholic Church has been fake and gay, to use their words. You know what I mean? Because the Catholic Church has terrible stuff like that through its history. And so that sort of stuff, and just kind of debating that in his autistic way, that I think that tripped up Fuentes really badly.
I tell you, I don't think I mentioned it on stream, but in chat we were talking about it. Somebody in one of the threads that we were reading nicknamed him Cwic Fuentes, and I was very disappointed that I didn't think of that because it's sort of a layup, but it's hilarious. And I feel like that's a mean word for sure. I'd never call a Mexican that because it's mean, but they got to give me a Cwic word pass to shit on Nick Fuentes, right? Like that counts.
I liked Razor Fist Burrito Mussolini. I think
Burrito Mussolini was great.
That was a funny one. But what was I talking about? These what I was saying is like Fuentes and those guys' generation, one of the points they're trying to make is we aren't close enough to the Holocaust anymore for you guys to use it on us like that, like it's something we experienced. It might as well be Genghis Khan. It might as well be.
I wondered why he didn't respond with that, because that's what I would have done if I were trying to defend my Hitler is cool stance. Like, oh, you think it's cool that he killed 6 million people, or whatever? I'd have been like, would you be mad at me if I said Genghis Khan is cool? He is a rapey motherfucker. You wouldn't like him if you knew him.
He cut off a lot of heads of women and children and everything. But I always felt that a little bit about Joseph Smith and Brigham Young.
No,
like it always felt too far back in history for me to get riled up in that way about that.
Yeah, well, I got riled up for a little bit, but I don't know. You get removed from it to a point where you're like, okay, yeah, they were shitty in these ways, but they're historical figures, and they're very, very fascinating historical figures. Just like, I mean, all the historical figures we talk about. Napoleon is a fascinating historical figure. He was the OG Hitler. Probably not the OG, but he was Hitler before Hitler was Hitler. And
wow, I'm so mad about that movie that they made about him. They could have made a good, cool movie. Joaquin Phoenix would have been good. And they made the whole entire thing that he's an incel, just sad he didn't get the woman that he wanted. And it's like, come on, man. We could have had a good movie.
Did you ever read War and Peace?
I read the first bit of War and Peace and then cheated the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I read the first bit of it and then I cheated it with one of those. I read like the first fourth of it and then I used one of those. What are they called? Like the quick reads where you can just kind of go chapter by chapter. Spark Notes stuff.
Yeah. Tolstoy fucking hated Napoleon. Like he was big on the what was it? He was big on the train of Napoleon was overrated. Like anytime he's mentioning Napoleon, he's big. It was luck. You know, a lot of it was luck. He wasn't quite that out there about it, but he liked Kutuzov quite a bit, even though that dude was.
Well, you know, Hegel was mesmerized by Bonaparte. He, in fact, even said it was like kind of like a godlike moment when he saw a great man of history like that.
Well, yeah, that's Raskolnikov from Crime and Punishment. His whole thing is being a great man like Napoleon. He is obsessed with Napoleon, and that's like he just knows.
And Napoleon acts beyond good and evil. Getting like back to Nietzsche, he's not thinking good and evil like you guys think. Great men don't think of good and evil like that.
Starbase said Shane Gillis liking the Napoleon movie made me judge him differently. There are movies that are so shitty that if somebody likes them, you're like,
Really?
like,
Really?
I don't know. Like when it's not even just shitty, but like when Tarantino says one of the best movies ever made was Toy Story 3. It was a good movie. Like for a kids movie, it was a really good movie.
He also shit.
Best movie ever?
Did you see it came out? He was really shitting on Paul Dano for
Yes.
Paul Dano was a terrible actor and shouldn't have been in There Will Be Blood.
He was in Crime and Punishment, or not, or in War and Peace. He played Boris, and he was like perfect in that part. He's a
I
good
didn't even
actor.
know he made a movie of that. I thought he did great in
It
that role.
was a series.
Well, Tarantino's criticism of him is exactly who the character is supposed to be. He's like, he seems too weak. He seems too snivelly. He should be strong. Like,
Oh.
do you not know what the character is? Like, that's what the character is. You know?
I don't think Andy Serkis was right for Gollum because he's just too like sickly and disgusting and
God.
bipolar. You're gonna talk about Animal Farm, aren't you?
You brought it up, but I guess we gotta talk about. I mean, you didn't mean to bring it up. You just mentioned Andy
As
Serkis.
soon as I said Andy Serkis, I was like, "Oh, Chris is gonna talk about Animal Farm now."
Well, how can't we? It's just right in line with this whole thing of getting movies wrong and doing some sort of thing. I mean, I guess we could just talk in general about that stuff. Speaking of which,
How are you gonna make Animal Farm? Like, there's a lot of shit to complain about this, but how are you gonna make Animal Farm and have your evil Stalin pig be voiced by Seth Rogen? He's
the main one.
He's Napoleon.
Oh my gosh!
But he's not necessarily the main one because the new main one is the capitalist bitch who wants to.
Oh yeah, that's right. Napoleon gets duped by the bigger thing.
Yeah, he's kind of sidelined by capitalism. His fucking allegory is dark, depressing allegory about communism with a direct tie to Stalin. The main villain is a capitalist. All right, retards.
I cannot believe. I cannot believe. What's that?
That it's Angel Studios?
It's Angel Studios.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody has listened to this yet, but Angel Studios is coming out with a CGI version of Animal Farm. And the CGI version of Animal Farm was directed by Andy Serkis over 14 years. But when he gets outside, for 14 years, he makes the movie about actually a corporation comes in over the pigs, which if you know Animal Farms, the pigs are the ones who are kind of the vanguard of the Communist Party and become the humans because they're the ones who take the lead and lead the whole thing. And then before long, they're treating all the animals just like the humans. There's a corporation that comes in over them and are the true villains who I guess trick the pigs. I don't know if it's tricking or yet not, or if the pigs are in it. And then he said he also gives it a happy ending because they want it to be hopeful for the future.
So for that part, my only defense is I think when animators of film think talking animals, they think kids movie. Like obviously it has to be a kids movie. And this is not a children's story because they did do an Animal Farm cartoon, I think in the 80s. And they did that same ending change where the animals actually broke down the door and overthrew the pigs and lived happily ever after. And they were like, well, there's a kids show. We just wanted to make the ending happy. It's like, thanks for the warning about communism, dickhead. This shouldn't have been a kids show. But if you look at this, it's very Pixar-ish.
Yeah,
They want this. Do you want to be food?
that's Napoleon saying they want his butt.
Yeah.
Matt Walsh had the best take on this. He goes, he wants to put a bet out there that the line that happened, that happened is somewhere in there.
Well,
that
I knew
just happened.
I knew he was going to say this because he mentioned that just happened, and as soon as he said that, I thought the thing that he was about to say, and he said, I would bet $1,000 right now that at some point someone's going to be shit talking Napoleon. Napoleon's going to walk up behind him, and the character's going to be like, "He's standing right behind me, isn't he?"
Yeah.
That's like the quintessential. Well, that just happened. Comic
sure.
relief.
Croissant Boucher says TNT made an Animal Farm adaptation that was pretty good, made back at the end of the 90s, early 2000s. If you're thinking of the one I'm thinking of, it was very good. Although I thought the one I'm thinking of, I swear was around in the 80s. A very good cartoon of it. But I guess we'll just keep watching this and then have you read all that stuff while you. I can't believe Angel Studios is doing this. Like, how
I
did they
know.
do this?
We are going on vacation.
I do hope it's somewhere good.
I bet the
What
horse
does that
doesn't
say?
die.
Lobster House.
That sounds awesome. I love to laugh.
It's a slaughterhouse.
Look at all this deliciousness. They want this.
Do you want to be food or do you want freedom?
Then let's fight for it.
We're free. Whatever goes upon two legs is an enemy. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. No animal shall wear clothes,
What? We're show pigs.
and all animals are equal.
Do you remember the part, the 1 leg, the 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, and then somebody said, "What about chickens?" And like Snowball did some weird postmodernist word game to make it sound like chickens actually had 4 legs.
I don't remember.
I might be misremembering that, but I remember that point really stuck out to me. He did some weird apologetics to make it sound like, no, chickens are cool.
We should grok it and look it up. I have not read Animal Farm in at least, I mean, gosh,
It's probably been about 5 years for me.
30 years for me.
Oh yeah, see, I never read it in high school.
I read 1984 more recently. I read that one maybe 5-6 years ago, something
Yeah.
like that. But I have not reread. It'd be a good reread. But
I read 1984 Julia recently. That one was really good.
Oh yeah,
Where
your
she-
Slop book.
Where she fucks everyone and then conquers what Winston couldn't because he has a small dick that can't get hard very well.
Yeah.
Running a farm? I had to see it for myself.
Thank you. Oh, so cute.
Have to be cute eyes.
I'd rather gouge them out. I want that farm.
We should move into the farmhouse. So the humans know we're in charge.
You are about to become my new best friends. Pigs and humans working together. I like the optics.
Oh, we love the optics. What are optics?
I think it's kind of seafood.
So the pigs are just duped into it.
I bet. Well, it sounds like they're working together. A couple bets about this. One, I bet the horse doesn't die. I don't know if you remember. The horse is very excited about his retirement because he's the workhorse. He's doing the bulk of the work, right? And he's looking forward to retirement. They keep telling him you'll retire after this, and then they keep pushing back his retirement. And then he gets into a truck eventually when he's old and close to death, and it's the truck says like glue factory on it or something. So they just take him off to kill him. I bet that doesn't happen. I also bet, this is less sure, but I do bet you that Napoleon is turned good and helps them to overthrow the
He
humans.
turns back to the good at the very end.
Yeah, and I bet he makes up with Snowball because I don't know if you remember that. It was Napoleon and Snowball were the 2 contenders for leaders. And that was actually, I thought it was such a fun.
I'm sorry, Snowball.
Well, yeah, this was a really clever thing that he added in there because Napoleon, there was some like some wolf cubs that were born or some dog cubs that were born, and he took the cubs and nobody saw them after that. And so him and Snowball years later are vying for the election of all the animals, and Snowball actually wins the election. They vote him in, and then Napoleon whistles, and those dogs come all grown up and all indoctrinated by him, and they chase Snowball away. And they never ever see Snowball again. It's just Snowball is the boogeyman at that point. Anything that goes wrong on the farm, Snowball is sabotaging us. And it's such. I thought that was a very clever, like, the most effective communist leader will steal away the youth, indoctrinate them, and use their force later in life to sort of conquer it because he wasn't even elected. And then Snowball was a bad guy. So I bet in this, Napoleon and Snowball make up and they say, we got to take down this capitalist bitch. Not exactly like that, but
Look at it. This is the film I was thinking it was made in 1954. That's way early, man. Just like 9 years after the World War II. British-American animated drama and propaganda film commissioned by the American Central Intelligence Agency. It was directed by both John Hallis and Joy Batchelor and produced by Hallis and Batchelor based on the 1945 novel with the same name by George Orwell. Successful farm. Why do they call it a propaganda film? And then it's got all this Russian underneath it. This is written by Ivanya Olenik.
Oh, that's funny.
A propaganda film.
Wade's making fun of me for my Minotaur jerk off book. Okay, we don't kink shame here. It's like the one thing I could ask of you people is to not kink shame. Do not yuck my yum.
I've got that one on hand all the time now. There it is. Morning Glory Milk and Farm.
I think I told you I found another book written by her and I read the description. I was like, this sounds like the same novel. And I look it up and it's like, oh, it's the same novel from the perspective of the fucking bull.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, it really is. She did the Stephanie, whatever her name, Stephanie Meyer, because Stephanie Meyer did that with Twilight. She rewrote the series from the perspective of the vampire.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, bother.
It's got a cum jar there. They just a jar of fucking cum.
What if the next novel this lady drops is just like the Great American Novel, and we're like, holy shit, where'd that come from?
Mary Shelley.
Let's just get to this.
As funny. Wade said, no kink shame. Just wondering if a Minotaur gets the chicken exception. Hey, that's a callback.
You're wearing clothes. Would you look at that? I am.
Everything's different, but we're still friends.
All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others.
See, that's not supposed to be
That's a terrible choice.
That's not supposed to be a comedy line.
Yeah.
Like, that's supposed to be like a
Yeah, it's dastardly. Andy Serkis, 14 years, added a billionaire villain not in the book, made her the main threat. Napoleon, Orwell's Stalin stand-in, gets downgraded to supporting antagonist voiced by Seth Rogen. The new villain drives a Cybertruck knockoff. Producers claim resemblance to Elon is unintentional. Then Serkis rewrote the ending. Orwell's original, pigs become indistinguishable from humans. Revolution betrayed. Totalitarianism wins. His version, animals overthrow pigs, plan brighter future. Director's explanation, we want some hope. Here's the problem. Animal Farm wasn't about capitalism. Orwell wrote it as a direct allegory for Soviet Russia, how revolutionary ideals get corrupted by power-hungry authoritarians. The pigs are the communists. That's the entire point. Hollywood just inverted the message, took a socialist warning about socialism, becoming tyranny, and turned it into corporations bad. Added an outside capitalist villain so the animals' internal corruption, the actual story, becomes secondary. Orwell spent his life warning about totalitarianism from the left. Now Seth Rogen voices Napoleon like it's a buddy comedy, while the real villain is tech billionaire. 14 years to completely miss the assignment. Yeah, it's so stupid.
Stupid. Steve mentioned that that's the clip he should send to the Brody Awards for his nomination is me talking about the Milky Farm. Please do. I would love for some NIMBY board member to have to watch me talking about the veins in a Minotaur's cock.
Leslie says Animal Farm was one of those books that made me question if Orwell had ever been exposed to Mormon leadership. The way the pigs keep changing the commandments and justifying the changes remind me of the changes throughout church history. Slop, man. Well, Slop's, I guess I get to that. Oh, did you see this? Charlie Kirk was maybe electrocuted. Anyway, back to
I saw one. I remember early on there was this one where it's like, was he shot by this guy? Because this dude like lifted something up very briefly, and it was pretty obviously like a phone or something. It was seriously the size of a phone. It was like he shot him with that, and he hip fired it. He just went. Just what projectile was shot by that thing? Yeah, what projectile was shot by that? Why was there no recoil at all? And how did he hip fire it straight into the dude's fucking throat?
Magical man. Where'd I go? Anyway, AI.
Croissant Bookshare said, at least they made a lady the villain. That's new and refreshing.
There it is. Was Charlie electrocuted? Every day we get closer to cracking the case. Anyway,
I can't tell you the I told you so that I feel since everyone's seeing how insane Candace is now. Because there has never been a time when I liked Candace. Like the first time I saw her, I don't even remember what it was. I was like, I don't know what it is at first. I didn't. And I just don't like her. I don't trust her. It's probably because I'm racist and sexist. I don't know. But I just don't like her. And people would always be like, but she's done this and this, and she's great. And now I'm like, yeah. See?
How does she say it? She's got bad vibes. She doesn't vibe with you. You don't vibe with her. She's a vibes person. And she doesn't know, but she knows.
Touch grass.
Well, at least they, Croissant says, well, at least they made a lady the villain. That's a new and refreshing. Anyway, yeah, 2025 word of the year from Webster's Dictionary is slop. And
well deserved.
Gerrymander, that wasn't around forever. Touch grass, performative, and other defined words of the
performative year. Was used way more in like 2018.
Yeah. Here's the New York Times. Oxford University Press chose rage bait. We talked about rage bait with Franklin last week. That was the rage bait.
I can see. I still think slop is probably the perfect thing for the winter.
Well, speaking of slop,
maybe 2026 will be mogging.
Mogging, yeah, that's got to come down the pike. Did you see any slop lately? I was going to show. I don't know why.
I wish I knew the word mogging when I first saw that that clip of Pierre Polyev just eating the apple and talking to the reporter.
Yeah, that was mogging.
That was just that was like when I read the definition of mogging, that was the first thing I thought of.
I was told that there was a new expert comedian who
oh God,
who broke the world with her comedy. So I filmed a little bit with my phone. I hope this doesn't get hit. It's from HBO.
Yeah, SNL's making a comeback, fellas.
So she's dressed up like a clown. And at the beginning of it, she has John Waters, the great John Waters. So I guess that brought her some credibility. It's about to go.
Walk, I waddle. But I have so many hemorrhoids, I can read my butthole braille, and it says stop wiping like that. There's so much shit coming out of my ass. Okay, stop looking. My eyes are up here. There's so much shit coming out. There's so much shit coming out of my ass. The doctors had to construct a second butthole to redirect traffic. Here's the thing. My piss is worse than my shit. Yeah.
Wow. They were wrong when they said women can't be funny.
But she's dressed like a clown, and there's the stuff. Wait, it gets better.
Cracking me open and getting a look inside. Hi. Here's my impression of my gyno cracking me open and getting a look inside. Hi. Oh, it's huge. Sarah, I didn't know they made poop in here. Wow. Well, Sarah, did you do renovations in here? Huh? Looks like you knocked down the wall between your pussy and your asshole.
Make it an open concept. Did she say open concept at least? We're going to knock down these walls because they're not load bearing and make it a more open concept. That's the thing about shit and piss humor is you have to make it clever. It's not like you can say, oh, I shit a lot. And people are just going to I know Louis C.K. tells a lot of dick jokes, but he's actually very good at it because he makes it very unexpected. He's talking about getting a blowjob from a woman and how unappealing it probably is to her. Just this big old dick hanging in front of her face. And he goes, it's big, but not in a thrusty stallion sort of way. It's big like an old man's nose. And I was like, that's a funny I don't know. You somehow made having a big dick sound unappealing. That was a very good sort of juxtaposition of something disgusting and sexual to something normal and it very perfectly descriptive. But she's like, I shit a lot, and my butthole's wide. Isn't that crazy?
So yeah, I was coming across like on TikTok, and they said I saw so many different. Maybe it was astroturfed. Everything's astroturfed. So many different women on TikTok saying this is the most deconstructed, newest, most wildest, unforeseen comic experience you've ever come across. You aren't expecting this.
They're actually right, because deconstructing something is ruining what it once was. So it's like yes, congratulations. I didn't laugh once. I winced a few times. So you've deconstructed comedy.
I'm gonna peel my little underwear off, and I'm gonna get a good like cheese pull.
Ah.
Like I'm pulling a slice of deep dish Chicago pizza.
So like Cartman, this deconstructed new comedy is just exactly what Cartman says is female humor, right? Talk about your vagina and stuff. I got 20 minutes in. I got 20 minutes in, and it was still on about that. And then
Starbase said, she's why you can't ordain women.
Yeah, she's why you can't ordain women. I got 20 minutes in, and then clip is. So it wasn't in the first 20 minutes. Oh, sorry.
You cut off right there. We got to the point where you said, I got 20 minutes in.
I got 20 minutes in, and then I found some clip of it when I was trying to like find the people who had recommended it and who had reviewed it. And the new clip that I watched was a clip that I had not seen yet, and it was more about the vagina. And I was like, it wasn't in the first 20 minutes where the vagina was heavily covered. It's somewhere in that last 30 minutes I didn't watch. Like, oh my gosh. And this person is one of the Saturday Night Live persons now.
This is Amy Schumer's fault. Remember her killer joke that was in the trailer for her stand-up special for Netflix? My vagina smells like a small barnyard animal.
Well, I want to play because I think we've gotten dinged for South Park before here, but I've got the Amy Schumer Cartman thing right here. It's like, talk about your vagina and stuff. It's really funny. Women can be funny. Talk about your vagina.
Say, babe, say my vagina.
That chick literally gets up there. That's a new drop special heavily advertised on HBO. And that's all she does the entire episode is talk about her vagina like that. But women are taking power back with stuff like this. Did you?
I read that whole thing.
Did you read it all?
Oh yeah. You want me to read it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got to click on the images because it goes for a while. All right. Feminism is about equality, but kneeling in front of a man with a ring isn't progressive or empowering. It's a humiliation ritual. Get up, girl. Okay, so keep in mind special pleading, because she like fully cops to special pleading and she sucks at it. Recently, women's proposals to men have gone viral on social media, especially those where they have been together for 10 plus years with children. Why is this a problem? Surely modern women can challenge gender roles.
Oh my gosh, that's so many words. That's enough to kill me already. I could read all of War and Peace before I could read that whole page. Okay, go ahead.
Well, and it's one of the dumbest phrases I've heard, and I've seen feminists make this claim so many times. Marriage benefits men. Marriage is a construct that benefits men disproportionately. Okay. Oh, fucking, I mean, I got a good marriage. I'm not complaining about my wife or anything like that. It's just like, fuck you. Like, my wife does a lot for me and a lot for our family, and I'm very grateful for her. But if she came to say, you know, marriage is better for you than it is for me, it benefits you more, I'd be like, I pay for everything. And I mean, that was the agreement, so I'm not complaining about that. You're doing something awesome. Anyway, marriage is a construct that benefits men disproportionately, but is sold as the prize for women. Begging for it and kneeling for it is being complicit in upholding the system that oppresses us. Some women seek the commitment of marriage without caring about the origins of the establishment. But marriage is constant work. No shit. That's what people who love their wives will tell you. But being legally handcuffed to a person you have to live through hardships or even tragedies with, it's for better or for worse, you cunt. With course, that's what you vow. Like, what if like my wife gets really sick? You know, like what if my wife becomes paraplegic? That's hard. Can I like leave her and stuff?
Yeah, I think that'd be okay.
No, no. You said ride or
Yeah,
die.
yeah, you can do that. That's valid.
All right, Natasha, but what if like I told my wife I would stay with her? Like it's kind of isn't that implied in my marriage vows for better or for worse?
Control. You're a controlling white male.
Oh, so the entire marriage vows are rooted in oppression.
Control, surveillance and control.
Oh God. Oh, you're good at that. No, it's disgusting. All right.
I would compliment you if you deserved it. Did you get past this? Did you get through this one?
No, not yet. Being legally handcuffed to a person you have to live through hardships or even tragedies with. No shit. We know statistically women carry the brunt of domestic and emotional labor. Just fuck off with emotional labor. Like, well, somehow you changed women's nagging into being like a burden that women carry.
Something they should get paid for.
Yeah, it's unpaid labor.
A billable service.
I'm not paid by you for the stuff. By the way, it is paid because I'm funding your life, asshole. It's totally paid. I pay for your health insurance. I pay for your food, your lodging, your luxuries, everything. And women are in charge of like 80% of the market, the money that's spent ever. I am not complaining about that because my wife isn't a bitch like this horrible bitch. Me and my wife are a team and it's great. Anyway, sorry, freaking out here. We know statistically they carry blah blah blah.
The way that is written on the page, my eyes like can't even follow it.
Oh, I know.
Like I dead seriously can read like some big thick book easier than.
So they carry the brunt of domestic and emotional labor, are in danger of partner violence, statistically have worse health and mental health, and die younger if married to a man, have to go through childbirth and postpartum. The situation should include that the person who benefits from it the most chooses it, so he enters it with the commitment of participation.
I thought there'd be a picture.
Putting it on the tab. Men who avoid marriage, knowing full well their girlfriends desire it and enjoy the full benefits of a committed relationship, know exactly what they're doing. Forcing them to commit goes on the tab of sacrifices that make the women pull even more weight. Look what I did for you. Okay. Why would men avoid it if it disproportionately benefits them? You're shitting on men for avoiding the thing that disproportionately benefits them in your worldview. You are retarded in every way. All right. They're not that into you. Men who don't propose for a long time do not want to propose. They probably will, though, after 3 months with their new partner. This is some personal shit. She got dumped by someone who's probably a reasonable guy who got sick of her bitchy cuntiness and then just was like, yeah, I'm going to marry this chick. She's nice. Because some women are nice, you bitter asshole. Once they were booted for not committing.
It's like we always joke that like Foucault is the guy who just like took his own psychosis and turned it into like a philosophy, but these guys do it to a better level. It'd be like me going out and joining the red pill world and just being very, very specific about a way a girlfriend broke up with you, but then just saying it's like how all women do it. Like, don't you hate how that time when you don't go to their dad's anniversary and they think that it should be something that you should have gone to? And then they start yelling at you because you're playing too much God of War, and you know. That's what they do. That's when they do it.
That happens in a lot of movies and stories. It's an archetype, basically. So the shut up ring. We all know the cautionary tales of women who received a shut up ring and live in a shut up marriage. Putting a ring on a man who refused to put one on you is also a shut up ring. So the idea of women, once they get married, they shut up. It's not what I've noticed, you know? It's from observing.
You're giving an anecdote here, Jared. What's the data say?
It's
like, what's the study?
I would say almost literally every single marriage I know of. I have not observed that the woman shuts up.
Source.
Yeah, I think you're ignoring the lived experiences of boomer men who do nothing but bitch about their wives. Get up, girl. It's okay for a couple to have a reasonable discussion and decide to get married. Or some couples have more dominant female roles. So why not ask him in a cozy setting? It's consenting adults making life decisions together. But being on your knees, when a man does it, it's to be right here. This is the special pleading. But being on your knees, when a man does it, it's to be humble and signify that he is to uphold, uplift, and emotionally and physically protect women. All unpaid, by the way. And he's not bitching about that. Mostly and physically protect women. Who's the creator of all life on earth? God is every woman, regardless of gender roles or the divine feminine bullshit. We're not made equal. Holy fuck, she just admitted to female supremacy right there. Like, she just outright stated. Usually you gotta kind of dig into the subtext, but she's like, we're not equal. We're better. And this world is not equal. The vulnerability and chivalry of taking initiative and kneeling is the respect for the feminine that we so rarely get in the world. Fuck off. Where we are oppressed, violated, held back, used, and literally murdered even. Who's murdered more? Like, if you had to guess, is it men or women that are murdered more? I know who does more murder. Men definitely do more murder. You're right about that. They're also murdered more often.
Yeah.
Why are you kneeling in front of a man? Next, please.
Is there more? I thought that was the last one.
No, I think there's more.
You read all of this? Wait,
Yeah.
is it circling around?
No, it circled around eventually, but there was two more.
Okay.
General roles run deep. Do you want me to read it, or are we done?
This it?
No, that one right there. General roles run deep. He may not mind to be proposed to consciously, but the conditioning of manhood runs incredibly deep. Since childhood, men are taught that their identity relies on being not women, and in being in charge over women. Therefore, emasculation is existential, as it risks them not only becoming cast out of their male communities, but losing the foundational basis of their identities. Them acting like or saying they're okay with it doesn't mean it won't unravel deep-seated issues that may fester into resentment. All right, last one is the next one. We can't do it all. Since our emancipation, women have been forced into traditionally male roles in an incredibly unhealthy way, and it helps weaponized incompetence and male uselessness to spread. In an unequal world where they still bring in the money and go 50-50, you do fucking not. While doing housework. While ask men out and pay on dates, you do not. We became independent and self-sufficient. You have not. We call chivalry unfeminist and open our doors, and you bitch about it. We fight back. We protect. We do hard physical labor. Like 2% of it at best. Let's go to linemen, people who like dudes who climb up there, underwater welders, sewage treatment workers, bricklayers. Let's look at the percentage of women in those, you fucking idiot. Let's look at the percentage of women in construction jobs and dock a couple points because the woman on the construction site is always holding the fucking stop sign. Anyway, sorry. Get a little worked up there. Where was I? Okay, because we have to. None of these are gendered. They pretty much are. But it becomes. You see that? She typed became.
I literally can't follow the way that's written on the page. Like, which one are you in?
The second box close to the bottom, it says, but it becomes.
Oh.
But it becomes an issue when we have to do them because we can't trust man. The more we move into I can do myself territory, the less responsibility there is on the men to grow and step up. Why court women? They can court me. Why change the tires for my wife? She'll do it on her own. Is she calling for traditional gender roles? This is so confusing. Why propose to a woman? She'll do it when she
The
wants
answer is
to.
it's all wrong.
Yeah.
You existed and you did it wrong.
Yeah, heads I win, tails you lose. Will we do everything on our own and be a man, woman, mule in a world built for the power and convenience of men on the back of women's labor? That is more retarded than Black people built America. This is
Did you hear
a
from
world built for the power and convenience of men on the back of women's labor?
Did you hear in the new Ken Burns documentary they say that we got our government from the Indians?
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Charles said that my impression sounds like Kip from Napoleon Dynamite. It was I think it was more an Adventure Time character I was going for. I don't remember because I didn't.
It's ringing my bell as somebody else, and I'm trying to drag out who I think it was.
I was going for some. I haven't watched much Adventure Time, but there's a character that sounds like that. And then Wade said, except he's getting increasingly drunk. I'm on a sober month right now. I decided not to drink from Thanksgiving to Christmas, so not drunk right now. Just fucked up in the head, I guess.
You sound like the Californians a little bit when they do that Californian sketch.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, Stewart.
Drunk uncle.
Yeah,
he must have saw my Thanksgiving meme where I was now that me coming up to Thanksgiving dinner realizing that I'm the racist uncle now.
Where are you at? You almost.
Oh, it's done.
Thank the Lord. Well, those women. It always reminds me of my very favorite line from a song by the Antlers, and it goes, "I wish that I'd known from the day that we met the unpayable debt I already owed you."
Holy shit, that's good. That's perfect.
Speaking of the oppressions, a paper came out. Did you read any of this paper? The Lost Generation by Jacob Savage. Just make it all around.
I listened to a few. Oh wait, no, this isn't. Wait, is this the writing one? The men in Hollywood writing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I didn't read.
I think it was
the
released
whole
in
article.
the New York Times or New York Times podcast or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't read the whole article. I listened to some people sort of sum it up.
Well, I liked these comments here by Matt Walsh. Like I said, he called it. Well, he used this from Aaron McIntyre. I'm ultimately glad that Compact published this article, but this is what we call permission piece, like when the New York Times finally tells wine aunts that they are allowed to acknowledge that COVID came from a lab. I like the term permission piece because I've talked about that phenomenon before, but I didn't have like that title for it. It's like it's a little bit like the TV show Adolescence. Like, oh, we need to talk about the young men are struggling. We need to do it from our angle now, but we can finally admit it. We can finally talk about it now. And it's stuff that other people have been talking about for 10 or 15 years. But now suddenly an Overton window thing made it shareable. But this guy talked about and had some numbers for some of the real statistics of industry gatekeepers that have 100% discriminated against white men for the past 20 years, even though everybody knew it and knew it was going on. The doors seemed closed to everywhere, and all at once in 2011, the year I moved to Los Angeles, white men were 48% of lower-level TV writers. By 2024, they accounted for 11.9%. Editorial staff, 53%, and 89% went up to 36% male and 66% white. Harvard.
That cannot be all retiring.
Yeah. White men fell from 39% of tenure track positions in humanities at Harvard in 2014 to 18%. That cannot happen unless the answer is you are 100% blocking all of them and just some very, very few are seeping through. And we knew. I mean, everybody knew that was going on. I knew it was going on. It basically happened to me.
Yeah.
going through college, humanities college, and that sort of stuff. This piece, it just kind of, well, maybe listen to Matt Walsh talk about it for a second. But, I thought I had it up. What are you doing, Huckleberry?
Everybody intuitively knows is that things were a lot better back when locked in an arms race to make content shorter, more attention grabbing, more conspiratorial. So it takes a lot for a 10,000 word essay in a tiny, little known publication to break containment. But that's exactly what happened with a new article in something called Compact Magazine titled The Lost Generation. It was written by Jacob Savage, the white man who aspired to be a big player in the entertainment industry before he had to settle for a much less glamorous career scalping tickets from his bedroom. Now, it's hard to see why Savage's article has been so well received. It's a well-researched, well-written explanation of how major institutions in this country, particularly the media and Hollywood, have systematically discriminated against white men over the past decade. Now, it's definitely not a perfect article for reasons that we'll get into. And it
feels like Scott Adams.
Wrong, and frankly,
this feels like my favorite thing that Scott Adams does, where he cites a scientific study and says, "You could have saved a lot of money by asking me."
Yeah, for sure.
If you asked me, like, do you think that publications are discriminating against white men? That's what we want to study. Yeah, no, I don't think it. I know it.
kind of embarrassing.
The point he gets to at the end, I mean, because I'm just listening to the beginning of the part he's talking about, but the article does kind of blame it on boomer white men who felt guilty, so they pulled up the ladder type stuff. So it's like, once again, doing that and also saying like, well, buckle up your bootstraps and just do better. But I think that's always true. I kind of believe in the Jocko Willink stuff, that no matter the situation out there, you gotta just go do your dang best or figure out your way and that sort of stuff. But it does overlook that. I saw a bunch of people posting around this, some campaigns that were done in 2019. It was like all these campaigns of women with pictures holding up signs saying, "I'm coming to take your job. Does that make you cry? Whoa, too bad for you, boo hoo," like type stuff, like literal campaigns from a publishing agency,
I am glad shit sucks for you now. I love equality.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you've been looking for reasons why every aspect of society seems to be falling apart, and we've been, talking about that on the show for the past few weeks,
you want to know what I want? I want an alternate universe where this worked, in the sense of we did totally alter all of the writing and all everything, but they just made the best fucking movies ever. You know what I mean? Like, what would be going on right now if it just worked that way? Like, we did the supersonic force diversity, and holy crikey, we live in the future utopia. It worked. Like,
they maybe could have done it. Like, they could have done force diversity and paid attention to storytelling as well, but they didn't. Like, and part of it is that the woke shit doesn't just come with the force diversity. It also comes with an entire baggage of bullshit.
The only story you can talk about is grievance stuff, or
it's subversion of everything. It's that trend that's been irritating me for, actually, Matt Walsh talked about it recently too, of making Disney villains seem like they were just misunderstood. And he was right to focus on Cruella, because I remember when Cruella came out, and my friend I was with a group of friends, and one of them was like, "Did you see that new Cruella movie?" I was like, "I did." And they're like, "Is it any good?" I was like, "It sucks." And he's like, "You just think all movies suck now?" I was like, "Yeah, most of them do." That one sucked. It was stupid. They took, like, Cruella DeVille her name is Cruel Devil. Like, they have a whole song about how she's evil. And she's unabashedly, cartoonishly evil. Her entire motivation is to kill 100 puppies to make a coat out of them. She's just evil for evil's sake. That's it. She's not a very complex villain. And then in the movie, they're like, "Oh, we need to humanize her." How? Well, we're gonna make 2 Dalmatians kill her mom. What? So that makes her want to skin puppies?
That justifies.
Oh, you know what? Okay, yeah, you're right.
Murder.
You're right. I still don't think she's justified in skinning puppies, but I understand she's just a product of the system. It was the system that failed not the woman that wants to skin puppies.
He made the good point in that you'll never see them do like a redemption arc of Gaston, which would be kind of funny to see. Like, there's actually been people who've done that fan theory stuff.
Well,
or whatever,
okay,
that
I mean,
Gaston really is the good guy.
So I love Beauty and the Beast. I really do. And I'm totally comfortable having Beast as a protagonist because it's told from the viewpoint of Belle, but it's told from the viewpoint of the Beast redeeming himself. So he does shitty things and he's redeemed by the love of a woman. And that's a beautiful story. And I'll never take anything away from it. But from Gaston's perspective, he's definitely, like,
he's not wrong.
I mean, he's kind of a dick, but I mean, he's not like an Andrew Tate level dick where he manipulates Belle or he tries to honestly court her. He ignores
he's not banging all the chicks. He
ignores the dozens of swooning women to go after Belle. So he's clearly got like a sense of women because Belle is in the show. She's the Belle, she's the Belle of the ball. She's the prettiest and the nicest. She's very giving and sacrificial. And very smart and studious. So he's got some positive qualities. And also, from his perspective, first off, this guy sounds crazy, Belle's dad. He sounds insane. He would sound insane to anyone. But also, like, once he finds out the Beast is real, all he knows is that a literal monster kidnapped the woman that he loves. So, of course, he's going to kill the monster. Killing the monster is the good guy thing to do.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. He's just a bit of a dick. That's his only fault, is that he's kind of a dick. Wait. If they redeem Gaston, they would make him fall for LeFou in the process. Yeah. To be like, all my toxic masculinity was just a trauma response to my repressed homosexuality.
So
come to me, LeFou. Let me dick you in the bum.
I hadn't ever watched it, and I finally watched Snow White and the Huntsman with Kristen Stewart. Mm-hmm. How did that gal ever get in any Critical Drinker? Just did a thing on her destroying her own career, but how did she ever get a career first? But that movie, I was watching, I was going along like, this is pretty good. It's pretty good. They're doing pretty good. And then I didn't realize that at the end, after she wakes up, she gets her armor on and takes an army in to kill the queen with her marching army of stuff. Like, she becomes the battle super warrior.
She's a badass.
And I was like, what? Like, it was almost pretty good up until then.
See, I have a friend that will defend Kristen Stewart by saying if the only thing you've ever seen her in is Twilight, which that's the only thing I've ever seen her in, then I don't blame you for thinking she's bad. And Morgan attests to this. When I said Kristen Stewart was a bad actor, Morgan was like, she's not a bad actor. I was like, she's terrible in Twilight. She's like, that's the only thing you've ever seen her in? I was like, yeah. And Morgan's like, the character sucks because she read the books. And the character just sucks. She plays the character perfectly, and she is such a dud.
But what is she good in? I mean, I wouldn't have said she's bad in Snow White. She just didn't emanate Snow Whiteness to me. But
I wish she would close her fucking mouth sometimes.
But maybe they were going for Joan of Arc.
And I'm not saying shut up. I'm saying, like, close your mouth when you're not talking. Like, she just
yeah, she's always doing that. Charlie says, every time I hear someone say Belle of the Ball, I can't help but picture a guy showing up for the first day in prison.
Shit, this guy finna be the Belle of the Ball.
This piece in Comeback Magazine is a very good jumping off point. Now, in particular, the article includes the following statistics on writing jobs in the entertainment industry, which help explain why every streaming show and movie, virtually without exception, is now terrible. Quote, in 2011, the year I moved to Los Angeles, white men were 48% of lower-level TV writers. By 2024, they accounted for just 11. None of them have been white men. Now, the article goes on to describe a white man who wrote a screenplay that made it on Hollywood's Blacklist, which is a prestigious list of unproduced screenplays, as determined by Hollywood executives. But despite that achievement, he couldn't land a full-time staff job from any showrunner. At one point, he was told to his face by a showrunner, a Gen X white guy, we're told, that they already had too many white people on staff.
Nerdrotic talked about that he knows somebody personally there, in Hollywood that their story got picked up for a show, but they told him that he couldn't be the showrunner. They needed a person of color to be the showrunner. And
And the author also notes that Dan Erickson, the white guy who created the Apple TV show Severance, which is the best show on TV today, I think by a mile, and one of the best of this century, wasn't able to land a job in a TV writer's room until his own show began production. And in some cases, the discrimination was put in writing. One higher up at a talent agency wrote, quote, "Chicago Fire, the UL upper level, can be anyone, but we need diverse SWs, staff writers." Savage also points to the Disney writing program, which is basically a boot camp that leads in most cases directly to full.
I think we pointed out too, like Star Trek put out that memo to their company that they could only have certain writers and write about certain things anymore. That made the rounds a while back. It was all this stuff.
Time staff writing jobs on major shows. And over the past decade, Savage notes, the writing program has awarded 107 writing fellowships and 17 directing fellowships, none of which have been given to white men. None of them. Now, here's the webpage for the current crop of fellows in the Disney writing program. And see what you notice when you look at this. There's only one person who could plausibly be described as a white male in the entire cohort. And when you look at that guy's bio.
And what would it be? Oh, I don't know. I'm guessing. I can't remember. Is he gay?
He informs you that he's a Tejano comedy writer who's proud of his queer crime comedy pilots. And that's the other thing. When we talk about the white males who are allowed to get jobs in this business, if you were to narrow it down even further, which this piece doesn't do, to straight white males, then the situation becomes even more dire. And every single one of the bios on this webpage begins with a statement about the person's ethnic origin. So Nada is a first-generation Iranian.
It's so funny because, I mean, I guess we don't need to go because it's just more and more and more of that. But you constantly hear from people like, why are white people privileged? Have you ever been systematically discriminated against for your race or whatever? And you're like, yes, for 20 years now.
Yeah.
And I was explicitly told it in grad school that there would be no jobs for me if I stayed that path, going to college in the type of literature that I was doing. So that's why I went out into the regular world. And I am telling you 100%, I was overqualified for jobs I never got called for. And I know if my name was Cwic L on my resume, I would have gotten calls back from corporate type jobs. And then I was dead seriously given a job. And then ultimately they said, you just have to have one more discussion with the guy who is the CEO of Johnson & Johnson. I met with the CEO of Johnson & Johnson because they're taking us over. And they said, like, you're who we want. They had just had a problem with the HR guy before him because, as often happens, the HR person had turned into almost a de facto union leader for them type stuff. And so that person caused all sorts of problems. They wanted somebody who was just a little bit more hard-nosed or something like that. I meet with the corporate Johnson & Johnson guy. And the thing is, like, when I was interviewing this place, I'd been recommended in by a gal that I knew who was on like the executive staff. So the guy finally decides to go another way. He goes another way. I say, well, which way did it go? What is it? She said he just said something that he likes better about this other person. Well, who is it? It was a Latino woman who has way less experience than I do. They needed Spanish. She didn't really speak Spanish. I spoke Spanish, and
you spoke Spanish in your home for a few years.
Yeah. And she didn't really speak it, but she was a Latina and all sorts of stuff. And she bombed out of the job in 6 months. And all I know is corporate CEO, whatever guy, who I 100% think is, they had just barely purchased the place, and all he was going to try to do is flip it and sell it again. And he just wanted something that said, look at the diverse staff. That's it. That's it. There was no good reason why they did that,
So while we have Matt Walsh up, I will have to credit him with a joke that I just told. I didn't come up with it. It was him. I just like the way he phrased it. He was talking about Michelle Obama on her podcast. She mentioned that Black women are just perpetually silenced and they don't speak their minds. And Matt Walsh just came back in. He's like, that's not what I've noticed. That's actually the perfect way to frame that. So that wasn't me. Full credit to this asshole.
Well, so now you get this. Here you go. This is the. Is this the answer to that? It's thinking. Come on, thing.
What is it thinking about?
Oh, just work. This is the last clip I gotta do anyway before. Oh, come on.
Man.
Here, it's working on the.
On what?
I just duplicated the screen and then.
Oh.
Pirro and Mark Levin. Take that message to the NAACP where it fucking belongs. Take that message to the Chamber of Commerce and the La Raza Legal Organization. Take that message somewhere fucking else because we don't need that. And I will say, I'm going to sound like a leftist here. It's not enough to not be anti-white. That's not enough. It's not enough to be anti-white. You have to be pro-white.
Oh my God, you're going full bag. Holy shit, he
That's
is
what
gay. You were right. You were right all along. He is gay.
That's what you get. That's what you get for doing all this stuff for 20 years. These young guys growing up in the generation. You get Kendyism reversed.
Well, okay. I explained this. Morgan had a friend over the other day, and she's like pretty politically conservative, and she's going down this rabbit hole of the Jews right now, and she's asking my opinion on it. And I was like, there's a lot of shitty Jews, but Jews as a people, they're not shitty. Like, they're not like inherently shitty, but I'm explaining the whole Fuentes phenomenon to her, and I was like, the problem is we gave Fuentes an in. Like, we lefties really gave him an in because the lefties, their idea is the dumbest. Nick Fuentes is the second dumbest, and then the least dumb, I would say, is liberalism, because you got the dumbest saying everybody can play identity politics except white people, and then you got the liberal answer to that, which is nobody can play identity politics. Yeah. If it's not for all, then none of them. And then Fuentes hears that and he's like, okay, let's do all. Like, he says everybody can play identity politics, so shit on Fuentes all you want. He's more consistent than the woke lefties. Yeah. The woke right is more intellectually consistent than the woke left. That doesn't make them more right. It just makes them more consistent. I don't think we should
be overcoming tribalism if we're that sort of tribalism. We got to have some sort of higher mark that we're looking at.
Yeah, the left tried to overcome tribalism because they would demonize tribalism, but just with their words. They love tribalism for everyone except the dominant, the tippy top of the oppression hierarchy. They love tribalism amongst females, hate it amongst males. They love it amongst gays, hate it amongst straights. They love it amongst black people, hate it against white people.
They never do the math of like, let's form a tribe of women. Well, what's that leave behind?
It leaves men, and then they're going to make a tribe.
A tribe of men. Oh,
how did you not see this coming? The biggest retard in the world could have told you. Like, I don't know. I had a friend talking to me about, man, I guess you were right about that pendulum swing. And I was like, yeah, if you paid attention for 10 seconds, you would have known it too. Like, you would have. It's not. You're not intelligent. You're not particularly intelligent for saying, oh shit, this pendulum is going to swing the other way. Because I was an adult when a lot of this stuff started becoming mainstream. But Gen Z grew up with this. Gen Z white dudes grew up being told everybody gets to have this thing except for you. And it's because of immutable characteristics that you have that you're not allowed to have this thing. And you are the reason for all the ills in the world. You are the reason for oppression. You are the reason for slavery, sexism, everything bad is your fault. And if you corner them on this, they'll be like, no, we're talking about whiteness as a concept. It's not just white people. But they don't hear it. Nobody hears it that way. These Gen Z white dudes do not hear. They hear it. It's like saying defund the police. Well, actually, we're not actually going to take away funding from police departments. We're just going to reallocate some funds and increase funds for things like social workers to come, which is also retarded in its own right. But then why the fuck did you name it defund the police, which is going to lead everybody to believe like what you named it after the Bailey? You didn't even, because it is the Bailey for sure. You do want to defund police departments when you say defund the police. You absolutely want that. Your mot is that you want more social workers. Your Bailey, your real goal is that you want to just get rid of all policing. And so you named it after the Bailey? You're a fucking retard.
Yeah. That rant might be good to call it on because we were hitting the 3 hours and I got a pup going nuts and I think the case is already made. Does that case even need to be made? There's permission now.
Yeah.
There's permission to notice. Permission that always blows my mind how the Overton window. Who are the people who are declared the ones to? This is the one that makes it allowed to be talked about now, even though many other people have already been long time.
That is maybe a good thing that came out of Trump being a dickhead to Reiner after he died. One good thing is that you can see the contrast between permission. What is it? Permission articles. What's the
permission
phrase?
piece?
Yeah, the permission pieces on the left versus on the right. Trump shitting on Rob Reiner could have been a permission piece for the entire right wing to jump on board with it. And so far, all I've really seen of prominent right wingers jumping on. There's Laura Loomer, who called Rob Reiner and his son both losers. And I was like, that's shitty. You said a shitty thing about a dude that didn't deserve to have his throat slit by his son. That's terrible of you. Fuck off. You had permission from your guy. And okay, I can say this now. I can say the shitty thing that I want to say. And then there's some apologists for it, but it's kind of optimistic because most right-wing figures that I've seen, the talking heads at least, have been like, no, Trump is way out of line here.
Yeah.
Like the only thing you can get Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, all these people to agree on is, fuck Trump for that thing that he did. That was mean.
I saw Victor Davis Hanson really lamenting it, and you can always kind of see Victor, maybe to an extent, but he's always he's talking about like an historian and be like, Ajax as the general was a difficult guy. General Patton as a general was a difficult guy, and sometimes you need that difficult guy. But in this case, he's just like, come on, like there's so much. There's so much that you have to highlight that's good going on in the world.
Yeah.
And there's a chance.
Well, it was mean spirited, but I mean, I hit it already. It was politically retarded. It was utterly retarded, especially since your team had the high ground when the other team acted like maniacs when Charlie Kirk was killed. The big people, I'll give them credit, like the Bernie Sanders, the AOCs, all those people. None of them. I shouldn't say none of them. Some of them did. Most of them didn't say shitty things about Charlie Kirk. They said it was bad that he was murdered, right? And you can chalk that up to just like maybe that's not what they actually think, but at least they have the wherewithal to understand that it would be politically imprudent of them to celebrate this death that internally they're celebrating. That's the thing. Same thing I would have said about Trump. If Trump was like, this was just a great tragedy, Rob Reiner didn't deserve to have his throat slit by his son, I would have been like, he's just doing it politically prudent. I understand that.
Give it like if he made that same tweet about now, it's far less after he made like the magnanimous tweet or something.
Oh yeah,
because he had real reason to be pissed off at him. That whole Russiagate stuff was more than just like, oh, you made my life a little bit of hell. Like that was like real deal litigation that cost money, time.
Well, and it was an accusation of treason.
Yeah, and he played a role in the propaganda films with Brendan and Clapper in creating those. Mm-hmm. But still, I mean, I would think that if my worst enemy in the world had their kid do that to them, I mean, they'd have to have done something pretty nasty to me for me not just be like, oh, geez, that's a pretty bad way to go.
I think I brought it up several times. I like that Game of Thrones idea that like he who passes the sentence should swing the sword. Ned Stark, he swings the sword and he executes the guy because that's what the law says. But he's very somber about it. And he makes his youngest son watch, and he says, you got to watch this. This is a somber case. He's not taking delight in killing this guy who committed treason. He's saying this is necessary, and we ought to be very somber about it. I think that's what we ought to have done about, like even terrible terrorists. I don't like celebrating death. When Osama bin Laden is killed, I want the reaction to be like, we had to kill him. It was necessary. And it was a good thing to do to kill him. We are not happy we had to kill someone. And nobody really seems to have that point of view.
No, I didn't. When I heard that night, I actually had a little bit of like a K-hole moment, just like when I got asked about booze. But like, oh, bin Laden died, and I was like, oh, well, I guess that's good. And I stopped and went, who is bin Laden to me? But like almost kind of like a character that was on the TV for a few years there and gone. Like, was he? I didn't go to one of those wars or something like that. And so it was almost like Baudrillard. And one of the things Baudrillard said is like the Iraq War never happened. He has a book about that. But part of what he's talking about is like you're just inundated with these images and signs with it. And I had a real kind of existential moment of like, bin Laden was this guy who I was just kind of told he attacked that place 1,000 miles away that I've never been to. And then 4,000 miles away, a bunch of fights happened, and now he's dead. And I guess the country was upset. I was just really tripped out about it at the moment about how much was that guy even really in or a part of my life in any way, Obviously the war caused a huge problem, but
I don't know. It's Fargo season 1 when Colin Hanks' character finally kills Billy Bob Thornton. He doesn't piss on him and he doesn't celebrate the fact that he got to kill a man, but he's relieved. He's like, all right, I did what I had to do to protect my family. It's done. And I don't know. I think that's the reaction you should have to death of even the most evil people. I always use the example of Ted Bundy, of when, he's being tried. There's all these people with signs saying "Burn Bundy, burn." And the thing is, I get it. I totally get it. But that's probably that's a right I would reserve for like the brother of one of the women that Ted Bundy killed. If that guy said, kill this motherfucker, and I will be so happy when it happens, I'll be like, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't feel that way, but I understand why you do. And I would probably feel the same way in your position. But the rest of us are supposed to hold you back. The rest of us are not supposed to let you in a room alone with Bundy so you can torture him to death. What we're supposed to do is put him down humanely and be like, dude, I know you want to slaughter this piece of shit, but you can't. And we never do that. It's this weird bloodlust that seems to be in the heart of everyone that's unchecked because nobody does their shadow work. They need to get with Sam Shelley, divorce queen. They should teach you all about shadow work.
Yeah.
She loves Jung and
trauma therapy.
She loves Jung and hates Peterson.
Yeah.
It's just how I love Himmler, but I hate Hitler.
But Himmler made great movies. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I got to get running. This dog is jumping on me. It's so crazy how he's got like the internal clock.
He does.
Yeah. So it's time for him to get to walking. But thanks for chilling. I think Flip will be back next week and maybe can chill longer because he won't be working overtime and getting ready to go on a great big England tour. He said he was going to pop in tonight, but I think it's 3 a.m. wherever he was. So obviously not so easy to do. But
what a liar.
Hold it against him. We will still hold it against him.
Oh, yeah. We'll guilt him next week.
We'll make him do an hour of booze corner. We'll ask him about stuff and we'll just have to sit quiet, like not letting him know that, not giving him a moment to stop talking because we'll just like sit there and wait.
Yeah,
like the way you make somebody feel awkward so that they keep going. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right.
See you, nerds.
Hasta la later.
Virgins.
Virgins.